Chapter 2876. Su Yun wouldn't ask too much about the past. He also knew that the old man wouldn't say much. But since he came here with Qi Qingzhu, there must be a reason why he had to complete and solve this matter. It didn't matter whether Su Yun knew about these things or not. Or rather, he had no reason to know. Since there was no reason to know, there was no need for him to ask more. The old man was silent for a while. Su Yun, do you know why I didn't make the first move even though I knew that Qi Qingzhu was a threat to you? Su Yun nodded. Everything is the righteousness of the underworld. Everything is the rules of society. The old man said, I'm a man of principles. What should be done and what should not be done may have become old-fashioned in the eyes of your generation, but it's different in my eyes. In my eyes, what should be done and what should not be done cannot be changed. I understand what you mean. Su Yun said, if he doesn't do anything, you have no reason to do anything to him. The old man smiled bitterly. Although some things sound old-fashioned and laughable, people of my age have no choice but to do so. Su Yun certainly understood. Everyone had something in their heart that they needed to adhere to. Everyone had a bottom line that they couldn't touch. The old man was a man of principles. Su Yun knew very well what this meant. Old sir, don't worry, Su Yun said. I understand these principles, and I won't have any other thoughts. As long as you don't blame me, this old thing. The old man said, after all, there are really too few young people who can understand my old thinking. I can't blame you, old sir. Su Yun said. If it weren't for old sir's reminder, I would still be in the dark right now. Just this point alone is enough for me to be deeply grateful. What other qualifications do I have to ask for more things? The old man picked up the teacup and motioned for Su Yun to drink. How confident are you in your heart? Su Yun also picked up the teacup and drank tea. Not even a little bit. The old man was stunned. But I have 100% confidence, Su Yun said again. The old man's stunned expression suddenly turned into a smile. It was exactly the same. This kid really had the same personality as his father. To have 100% confidence in something that he had no confidence in was not something that anyone could say, and even less so, it was not something that anyone could do. But the old man believed that Su Yun could make it, because his father was such a person, he could also do it. Inexplicably, even the old man had full trust in Su Yun. This trust was not forced, but spontaneously born from the bottom of his heart. This is called, overconfident. Su Yun saw the old man laughing, and he couldn't help but laugh out loud, mocking himself. If you have the courage to overestimate yourself and the ability to overestimate yourself, then you can't be called overestimating yourself. The old man really had a whole new level of respect for Su Yun. This kid might be more courageous than his father when he was young. Su Yun shook his head in embarrassment. I just have one or two trustworthy friends. I think that with them around, no matter what poison Qi Qingzhu gives me, they will do their best to help me detoxify it. The old man nodded. He wanted to know who it was and whether they really had the ability. I've known old Master Wu Qiuzi for a long time. Su Yun smiled. Because we're so familiar with each other, we usually call each other brothers. I believe that if I ask him to help me with this matter, he won't refuse. The old man nodded. You know Wu Qiuzi? Yes. This is really the best choice. The old man smiled slightly. The vicious doctor has always been unconvinced by old poison Qi Qingzhu. Otherwise, Wu Qiuzi wouldn't have called himself the Poison King. Su Yun asked curiously, then who is more poisonous between the two of them? Of course it's the old poison. The old man answered without hesitation. Although Wu Qiuzi was recognized as the Poison King, the name of the vicious doctor was also well known in the underground world. However, he cultivated both medicine and poison. In the eyes of many people, he was not as good as the medical sage who specialized in medicine. As for poison, he was not as good as the world's most poisonous old poison, Qi Wudu. This might also be a fact. It was just that Wu Qiuzi was unconvinced. He said that he wanted to do both and do the best in both. No one knew whether he did it or not. After all, he said it himself. However, there was only one medical sage in the underground world, and he had already retired. And there was only one old poison, and he had also retired. For so many years, the vicious doctor had always been the most amazing person in the underground world, and it had long been ingrained in people's hearts. However, reputation was only reputation after all. So, Qi Qingzhu's poison may be something that the old man can't solve? Su Yun was startled. He really didn't dare to imagine how Wu Qiuzi would react after being provoked. Although Qi Qingzhu of the 5 poisons had been famous for many years, if he wanted to compete with Wu Qiuzi would not tolerate it at all. This is all unknown. The old man nodded. Su Yun smiled slightly and was much calmer. Then it seems that I still need to find him another helper. When the old man heard Su Yun's words, he knew that he must have a powerful helper. Who else? You definitely don't know this person. Su Yun said, she's not from the underground world. Her surname is Yu, and her name is Beauty. She's a friend of mine who grew up with me. The old man was a little puzzled. She's not famous at all. What can she do? Perhaps she's the one with the highest medical skills among the young people in Huaxia. Su Yun smiled faintly. After so many years, I don't know how many lives I owe her. The old man suddenly understood. He understood that the person Su Yun was talking about was definitely not simple. It was just that her identity was special, and she was not the kind of person who would be exposed. In that case, I'm much more relieved. The old man said, if Wu Qiuzi can't solve it alone, with a helper who can give a few pointers on the details, perhaps the whole situation can be changed. Su Yun also felt that what the old man said made sense. This kind of situation would make things simpler, clearer, and clearer. Hee. But even so, there's still a risk. The old man sighed. If something really happens to you, these old bones of mine will really feel bad. Old man, this matter has nothing to do with you. Su Yun said, Qi Qingzhu is coming for me. But I can obviously strangle things in the cradle now. The old man looked up at the sky, feeling a little sad. If you make a move now, it's tantamount to damaging the morality in your heart and breaking your own principles. Su Yun said, why should I break your principles for my own matters? The old man shook his head helplessly. I really didn't expect you to say that. I should have said that. Su Yun said, if I didn't say that, what else could I say? The old man smiled bitterly. Well, then I'll follow my original intention, and you follow yours. We'll all do what we think we should do. That's enough. Yes. Su Yun nodded. Chapter 2877. The conversation between Qi Qingzhu and Guo Yu came out of the eavesdropping device again. The old man slowly increased the volume of his voice, and Su Yun calmed down again. He sat at the table and listened attentively. Su Yun has appeared many times, but there are no signs of those 2 people beside him. Qi Qingzhu said, Guo Yu, neither of us can decide on this matter. If I kill Su Yun now, and no one knows the whereabouts of those 2 people, do you think your master will agree? Guo Yu was stunned. This was really a problem that needed to be considered. If this happened, the matter would not be considered complete, and it would be messed up. At that time, his great merit would go down the drain. Old Mr. Qi, you have to think of a way. Guo Yu said, this was originally a deal you made with our young master Zhao to get the heaven and earth loyalty. I can't decide on this matter, but you can think of a way. You want to threaten me with something now? Qi Qingzhu's voice had a hint of anger. Guo Yu hurriedly said, No, I definitely don't dare. I just think that with old Mr. Qi's ability, you must have a way. You really know how to talk. Qi Qingzhu sneered. Well, then I'll come up with an idea now. I'm all ears. Guo Yu heaved a sigh of relief in his heart. At this time, it was best to let Qi Qingzhu make the decision. Even if there was an accident, he would not be the one to bear the blame. The situation now was completely beyond Guo Yu's ability. He could not control it. He originally wanted to use this matter to quickly become Zhao Zihu's favorite person, but now it could only be an illusion. Now, Guo Yu only had one thought. He did not want credit, he only wanted to avoid mistakes. That was it. I'll teach Su Yun a lesson now. I won't let him die, but I'll make him unable to bear the torture. Qi Qingzhu said, if he wants to get the antidote, then he must listen to me and tell me the whereabouts of those two people. Guo Yu flattered in admiration. Old Mr. Qi, you really have the means. Brilliant. Really brilliant. As long as he confesses the identity of those two people, there will be no problem. Qi Qingzhu said, I can catch them all in one fell swoop. Good idea. Guo Yu nodded vigorously. Good my ass. Qi Qingzhu changed the topic and became angry. If I could do that, I would have done it long ago. Guo Yu was completely shocked by the speed at which Qi Qingzhu turned hostile. What exactly did this old man want? Qi Qingzhu was speechless at Guo Yu's IQ. If Su Yun was such an ungrateful person, he would have betrayed the Jiang family long ago. Guo Yu was speechless. In the end, this old thing was just toying with him. Old Mr. Qi, since this isn't a solution, then what's the point of telling me? Guo Yu asked. I realized that you really don't understand. Qi Qingzhu said, since Su Yun is a sentimental person, let's give him a multiple-choice question. Guo Yu's face was full of doubts. What do you mean? Do I need to say more? Qi Qingzhu shook his head helplessly. I realized that the Zhao family is really raising a bunch of good-for-nothings. Although he was humiliated so straightforwardly, Guo Yu did not dare to be disrespectful. Old Mr. Qi, forgive my ignorance. If he is sentimental to the Jiang family, then shouldn't he also be sentimental to the people around him? Qi Qingzhu said, we have been here for so many days, and you have observed everything that needs to be observed. I believe you know who is the most important person around Su Yun, right? At this time, Guo Yu suddenly realized. Old Mr. Qi, I understand. You mean, you should make a move first and take care of the people around him. Guo Yu's voice was full of joy. Qi Qingzhu directly extinguished his enthusiasm with a basin of cold water. I won't do this, you will. When Qi Qingzhu said this, Guo Yu was completely speechless. Qi Qingzhu continued, do you need me to do such a simple thing personally? Old Mr. Qi, there's something I don't understand. You're the one who benefits from this, but I don't get anything. Guo Yu said, after all, I'm a member of the Zhao family, not your subordinate. You know my identity. If I make a move and attract unnecessary attention, then things will not be so simple, Qi Qingzhu said. Guo Yu frowned and did not speak. If you don't even do such a small thing and cause big trouble, I want to see how you will explain it to your master. Qi Qingzhu was determined to do this. Guo Yu really had no way to deal with this. The only thing he could do was to follow Qi Qingzhu's orders. However, it was easy to say, but it was another matter to do it. Although Guo Yu had not directly confronted Su Yun, he knew very well that Su Yun was not a person to be trifled with. Otherwise, young Master Zhao would not have suffered so much and could not do anything to him now. In his current situation, it was as uncomfortable as it could be. Old Mr. Qi, I'm afraid I really can't do this well. What if? Guo Yu had to find an excuse for himself. You think too much. This is actually very simple and easy. Qi Qingzhu shook his finger. There are so many people in the Sky Entertainment Group today. If you can't seize such a good opportunity, then you have really lived for so many years in vain. Guo Yu took a deep breath. He knew that Qi Qingzhu was determined to let him do this. As long as you catch the person, leave the rest to me. Qi Qingzhu nodded, indicating that Guo Yu could go and prepare now. Guo Yu gritted his teeth. What should he do? Don't be so nervous. Calm down. I believe you have done something similar before. Qi Qingzhu said, go, I will wait for your good news. After a fierce internal struggle, Guo Yu finally chose to get up. Now that things had come to this, he had no other choice. When the sound in the listening device turned into footsteps, the old man lowered the volume again and poured away the tea that was no longer boiling hot. "Now you should inform the people over there to prepare." The old man smiled. "In this way, I believe that the people who originally blamed you for pushing the meeting to see this old man will also forgive this old man." Su-yun really broke out in a cold sweat. Just thinking about it made him afraid. If Guan Yu really caught the person, it would be fine, but if he handed the person over to Qi Qingzhu, it would be troublesome. Su-yun did not dare to think about Qi Qingzhu's methods. No matter who the torture was used on, he believed that it would be a pain that could not be erased for a lifetime. "If it weren't for old Mr. Today, I would have been in big trouble." Su-yun smiled bitterly. "Don't be so polite. Go do your work." The old man said, "Don't worry. The people that the old poison arranged will not be able to rush over so quickly. There is still me." Su-yun was stunned. He did not know what else he could do. The hermit has his own brilliant plan. The old man smiled slightly. He had already met Guan Yu, so it was not difficult for him to help Su-yun stop him for a while. Now, what Su-yun had to do was to let Ruan Qingshuang and the others leave and not appear again for a while. The opponent was Qi Qingzhu. Even the old man did not dare to be careless, so how could Su-yun dare to underestimate him? If the old poison was provoked and really ruthless, as long as he could see, he would definitely have a way to poison anyone. This was not a joke. Chapter 2878. Although the old man seemed to be eating, drinking, and having fun during his stay here, he did everything he needed to do. Everything had been investigated clearly. It was too easy for him to stop Guan Yu. He just needed to say that he met Guan Yu by chance, and then he would ask him to go to his room to check his pulse and see the effect of the detoxification. It was not a problem for him to delay Guan Yu for half an hour. And this half an hour was enough for Su-yun to send everyone away. Although Qi Qingzhu and Guan Yu had been on Qingdao for so many days, they only saw Su-yun and the people around Su-yun in the hotel and the company. They did not do any more investigation. Perhaps Qi Qingzhu did not dare to make too much noise and wanted to deal with things in a low-key way, or perhaps Guan Yu did not want to get himself involved in too dangerous a situation, so they did not leave the circle around the movie hotel at all. Naturally, they did not know the whereabouts of Su-yun and the others. If Qi Qingzhu had the foresight to let Guan Yu follow Su-yun and find out the location of his home, then Su-yun and the others would be in a worse situation. For Su-yun now, as long as he sent them home safely and did not show up before the matter was settled, it would be enough for him to be safe. When Su-yun returned to the company again, Zhou Meiyan was quite surprised. She did not expect that Su-yun could come back before the meeting was about to end. However, what Su-yun did next made Zhou Meiyan unable to understand. Su-yun directly gave a simple explanation to the others present, saying that there was a very urgent matter. He directly called them out and asked them to go home immediately. The matter was urgent. Although Zhou Meiyan was dissatisfied with Su-yun's improper approach, she knew Su-yun well. Su-yun was not a person who would do such a thing. There was a reason, and Su-yun could not explain it clearly in a few sentences, so Su-yun made the arrangements in such a hurry. Su-yun was a person who cared more about the people around him than himself. In such a situation, it was definitely not a good thing. If the matter was not tricky to a certain extent, with Su-yun's composure, he would definitely not make such an arrangement. Once Zhou Meiyan understood and obeyed, the others didn't have too many objections. Although this meeting had a strong start and a weak finish, everyone expressed their understanding. Su-yun didn't go through the front door. Instead, he called Shirley to arrange a car. They left through the back door. He knew that there was a pair of eyes staring at their front yard from one of the rooms in the movie hotel across the street. On the other hand, Su-yun called Bai Xiaoye after he left and told her not to panic. He told her to go home as usual and not to act strangely. Although Bai Xiaoye was confused, she still followed Su-yun's instructions. After settling everything, Su-yun finally felt at ease. Lin Ge, who had returned home with them, had been suppressing his doubts. When Su-yun finally sat down, he couldn't wait to ask, "Brother, what's going on?" Lin Gu frowned. The Zhao family is really unwilling to give up. They invited people to stay in the hotel and are waiting for an opportunity to make a move on us. Su Yun didn't hide anything. Their target is not only me, but also Jiang Hong and Jiang Zixue. Because the two of them are no longer around, they want to use me to find them. They're planning to capture you to threaten and force me to submit. Only then did everyone burst into an uproar. Zhuo Meiyan was confused. How did you know? Old Mr. invited me over to tell him today, Su Yun said. Then, why are you so sure about what he said? Bai Xiaoye was a little surprised. He didn't say it. I heard it with my own ears. Su Yun, although I don't know how the old Mr. did it, he actually let the Zhao family's people eat his listening device. Ruan Qingxuang widened her eyes. No matter how she listened to it, it sounded like nonsense. I heard their conversation clearly, Su Yun said. Lin Gu slammed the table. Then why are we still being polite with them? We're in our territory, so why should we be afraid of them? The others also expressed the same thoughts as Lin Gu. Since they're in the hotel, we'll take the initiative. Chou Yun said. Let's catch them directly. That's right. Lin Gu said. I'll go take them down now and beat them until they don't recognize their parents. Su Yun shook his head. Zhuo Meiyan also smiled. I think they're right. Besides, didn't you say that the old Mister's identity is mysterious and his strength is terrifying? Since he's helping you, he won't just leave you be, right? Lin Gu nodded vigorously. That's right. This is a good opportunity to see the old Mister's strength. Stop fooling around. Su Yun, you don't even know who the other party is right now, and you're just talking about it. No matter who they are, with the old Mister here, we won't be afraid of them. Lin Gu didn't have confidence in himself or others, but he had absolute confidence in the old Mister. This was a transcendent expert who could render him helpless with a wave of his hand. Who would he be afraid of? The old Mister won't take the initiative to attack unless the other party attacks, Su Yun said. But once the other party attacks, he won't be able to control himself. Ruan Qingxuang didn't understand what was going on, but she was curious. Then why? You won't understand even if I explain it to you. The people in the underground world won't take the initiative to attack those who have already retired, Su Yun said. Unless the person who has already retired gets into trouble with the underground world again. Ruan Qingxuang nodded, but she didn't fully understand. Then I'll ask the other party to attack. After they provoke me, we'll fight back. Lin Gu felt that this matter was too simple. There was no need to complicate things so much. That's why I said that you don't know who your opponent is, Su Yun said. Is he more powerful than my mom? Bai Xiaoye said disapprovingly. Su Yun thought for a moment. Although he's not as powerful as her, his strength is probably on par with hers. After a pause, Su Yun continued, but there's one thing that even my stepmother has to be afraid of. In this world, no one knows how to use poison better than this guy. Everyone was stunned. Everyone's mind was spinning rapidly, trying to figure out who in the world could be so good at using poison. Other than Ruan Qingxuang, who didn't know anything about the underground world and people, everyone quickly had an answer in their hearts. Almost in unison, they said, could it be Qi Qingzhu? Su Yun really did not expect that everyone who spoke would answer correctly. He stretched out his hand and gave a thumbs up. This time, the entire room became quiet. Qi Qingzhu. Although this name had disappeared from the underground world for a long time, as long as one came into contact with the underground world, they would have heard of this name. Other than Ruan Qingxuang, everyone in the room probably knew how terrifying the 5 poison walkers' reputation was. Even if no one had really come into contact with Qi Qingzhu, just the mention of his name would still make them tremble in fear. The key was the bad reputation that Qi Qingzhu had left behind. The things that Qi Qingzhu had done weren't things that a human could do. Just how poisonous was this old poison? The impression he left on people was already very terrifying. How is this possible? Zhuo Meiyan was the first to find it hard to believe. Qi Qingzhu, this person had disappeared for far too long. It had been so long that even someone as sinister as him had almost been forgotten by others. Bai Xiaoye didn't say anything. She stared at Su Yun without blinking. She knew that Su Yun wouldn't talk nonsense. She had only heard a little about Qi Qingzhu from her mother. She also knew how sinister he was. Did the old mister say that? Lin Gu sucked in a breath of cold air. Could it be that the old mister came to Guqin Island because of this old poison? Su Yun nodded. That's right. He didn't come to Guqin Island to look for Little Dong Bei. I asked Little Dong Bei. When they parted in the old forest in the northeast, Little Dong Bei didn't leave any contact information. Chou Yun fell silent. Ruan Qingshuang didn't say anything. She understood what they were talking about. How can the Zhao family be so powerful? Lin Gu kept shaking his head. Isn't this too exaggerated? We obviously can't guess why, but it's true, Su Yun said. Otherwise, I wouldn't have asked you to go home in such a hurry. Chapter 2879. Because the other party was Qi Qingzhu, everyone quickly calmed down. They were all very calm and knew what to do and what not to do. Based on the current situation, it was not easy to enter Qi Qingzhu's room. Qi Qingzhu only needed to do a little trick at the door, and the person who took the initiative to come to him would be unlucky. Therefore, everyone knew that they could not afford to provoke this trouble. Then, the old man won't take the initiative to make a move. He wants to wait for the bad guy you're talking about to. Ruan Qingshuang seemed to be the first to react. You sent all of us out, so he will definitely make a move on you. Su Yun, what are you going to do next? Su Yun had the same idea, and so did the old man. Don't get the innocent people involved and send them away safely. It was Su Yun's turn to bear the consequences. It was such a simple matter. As long as Su Yun could bear it, everything would be resolved. After Ruan Qingshuang exposed this point, everyone's eyes gathered on Su Yun. Brother, you can't go. Bai Xiaoye was the first to stand up. Don't worry, Xiaoye. No one will agree to let him go, Zhuo Meiyan said. He will be courting death if he goes. No one will agree to let him go. How am I sending myself to my death? Su Yun smiled helplessly. Right now, the initiative is in our hands. Chou Yun asked in return, Initiative? If so, why did you run back in such a hurry? Su Yun really didn't have any temper left after hearing those words. I think you guys are too cautious. Lin Gu said, how about this? If my brother goes, I will go with him. If anything happens, I will block in front of him. Lin Gu actually did not want Su Yun to go. However, he said this because he knew that if Su Yun wanted to go back, no one could stop him. Even if Ruan Qingshuang personally said it, Su Yun would not obediently sit there. This was Su Yun's character. As his brother, he knew too well. I told you everything so calmly. You can't do this to me, Su Yun said. Don't worry. The old man and I have already reached an agreement on what to do. What agreement? Tell us. Ruan Qingshuang would not compromise easily. For example, I will invite the old man Wu Qiuzi and inform Yu Meiren. Su Yun said, with them here, even if I'm poisoned, I'm afraid it won't be a big deal. They'll definitely think of a way to resolve it for me. Zhuo Meiyan snorted. A small poison? Su Yun laughed dryly. Of course. They won't let me die for a while. After all, they still want to know the whereabouts of Jiang Hong and Jiang Zixue. Don't give me that, Bai Xiaoye said. How can Qi Qingzhu's poison be a small poison? Su Yun's decision was immediately rejected by everyone. No one would agree with Su Yun's decision. However, Su Yun had no other choice. He could only be the bait. No one could replace him. Even if someone could replace him, he would not let them take the risk for him. This was a matter of principle. Su Yun, listen carefully. You are not reliable at all. Zhuo Meiyan glanced at Ruan Qingshuang and explained, Qi Qingzhu is the most venomous old man in the underground world. I'm afraid there are at least 800 people who have died from his poison. Do you think what he said is reliable? Ruan Qingxuang gasped. It turned out that Qi Qingzhu was such a perverted person. Are there no laws to punish people like him? Ruan Qingxuang could not believe it. It's even harder to explain, Zhuo Meiyan said. Zhuo Meiyan said, although Qi Qingzhu is poisonous, the people who died in his hands were all related to the underground world. There were no ordinary people. This is a tacit rule. If he had maliciously harmed ordinary people, some departments would not let him go even if he had retired in a gold basin. Zhuo Meiyan looked at Su Yun. It was precisely because Qi Qingzhu did not get involved with ordinary people that he could wash his hands of the business in a peaceful manner. The underground world's affairs were handled by the people there. As long as they did not cross the line, some departments would not interfere. This was the rule. You are thinking too much. Su Yun said, just as you said, Meiyan, if Qi Qingzhu is involved with ordinary people, there will definitely be departments that will not let him off. When the time comes, the people who will deal with him will definitely be our Divine Dragon Brigade. What does that have to do with you? You are no longer in the Dragon Brigade. Moreover, Qi Qingzhu did not touch ordinary people. It is impossible, Zhuo Meiyan said. Su Yun explained, I am saying that it is theoretically possible. If it is true, I will not be soft-hearted. I will go too. But it is not true now, Bai Xiaoye added. Think about it. If it is true, our people will consider the danger. What if he is poisoned? It is fine. The Dragon Brigade has a very powerful medical team. This means that it can be solved. Su Yun ignored Bai Xiaoye's words. His explanation was very shallow, but there was a little bit of truth in it. That is why I invited you, Meiren, to ensure my safety, Su Yun said. Moreover, I will invite old Bu too. That is double insurance. Who knows where Grandpa Wu Qiuzi is now? Cho Yun said. What if we can't contact him? That is not a problem. I just need to call Ma Saner and ask him to arrange it, Su Yun said. Moreover, from what I know, old Butu has not left since he returned to Huaxia. Ruan Qingxuang was also worried. What if he can't come? Now that Huaxia is connected to high-speed trains, light rail, and subways, it is as convenient as possible, Su Yun said. It will not be a problem. He had made up his mind. It is useless to say anything, right? Zhuo Meiyan said. Su Yun nodded and did not deny it. I have nothing to say. Zhuo Meiyan shook her head helplessly. I will leave it to you. Don't be so against me. I have already made preparations and arrangements. It will be foolproof, Su Yun said. I need your support. There is nothing foolproof, Lin Gu muttered. Su Yun glared at him. Who are you speaking for? He is. Bai Xiaoye said. In the end, everyone's eyes fell on Ruan Qingxuang. It seemed that she was the one who could make the final decision. If Ruan Qingxuang could control Su Yun, they would not have to waste so much time talking. I know that it is useless to say anything now. He will not listen to us, Ruan Qingxuang said. Su Yun, we can support you, but you must promise us one thing. What is it? Su Yun was startled. If you don't agree, then there is nothing to talk about, Ruan Qingxuang said. Promise me first, and I will support you. Su Yun did not think too much about it. He nodded. All right, I promise you. Everyone looked at Ruan Qingxuang in surprise. Ruan Qingxuang had no choice. She did not want to support Su Yun, but like the others, she could not change the situation. Wait until Mr. Wu Qiuzi and Sister Yu Meiren are here. You can only take the risk after you convince them, Ruan Qingxuang said. Before Su Yun could speak, she added, if they say that Qi Qingzhu is not easy to deal with, or that they have no confidence in dealing with Qi Qingzhu's poison, then I will not let you take the risk no matter what. Su Yun was startled. Ruan Qingxuang's words were powerful. She did not need to use any special methods. She only needed to threaten Su Yun with him, and there was nothing he could do. Su Yun believed that Ruan Qingxuang could do it. Although Ruan Qingxuang usually supported many of his decisions, once she thought that there was no chance of success, she would definitely not continue to support him. Chapter 2880. Ruan Qingshuang was very firm. This was her bottom line. Even though she couldn't stop Su Yun from doing anything, she couldn't let Su Yun do whatever he wanted. There were some things that she had her own principles. Just like today's matter, Su Yun had to compromise. Ruan Qingshuang had already given in. If Su Yun couldn't give in, then what was there to talk about? Okay. I agree. Su Yun finally chose to give in. Although this result didn't make everyone very satisfied, it was already the best choice and decision when they thought about it. No one could stop Su Yun, but Ruan Qingshuang could give Su Yun the greatest support and protection. Perhaps no one else could do this. At this moment, Zhuo Meiyan seemed to have realized who was more important in Su Yun's heart. Fortunately, she was already past the age where she would fight over this kind of thing. She was already used to it. Perhaps any man would have multiple women in his heart. However, some people had the ability to hide it, while others didn't. There were even some people who didn't have the courage to hide it. However, the more a person hid it, the more hypocritical they were. At least in this aspect, Su Yun wasn't a hypocrite. He wasn't like some people, who would say that every woman was the only one in their heart. Su Yun had never said such a thing to anyone. He wasn't the kind of person who would lie. He wasn't the kind of person who would casually say empty words. Perhaps this was where Su Yun's charm lay. At least in Zhuo Meiyan's eyes, this was a man's charm. An irresistible charm. Since the matter had been decided, Su Yun immediately contacted Wu Qiuzi and Yu Meiren. He didn't tell them the details, but they would definitely come as soon as possible. At the hotel, Guo Yu's mood wasn't good at all. Just as he was about to sneak into Sky Entertainment, the people who had attended the meeting were all preparing to leave. When the cars were almost gone, he did not see Su Yun and the others. After he carefully sneaked in, he did not see Su Yun and the others in the company. In the end, he was discovered and asked what he was doing sneaking around. In the end, he was coaxed out by the security guards. Guo Yu didn't dare to cause too much of a commotion, so he could only swallow his anger. It didn't matter if they swallowed their anger, but if they couldn't find the person they were looking for, how was he going to explain himself when he returned? It was because he had said a few words to the old man, saying that the poison was still in between his eyebrows and that it still needed to be removed. In less than half an hour, everything was different from before. But how was he going to reason with them? If Qi Qingzhu hadn't poisoned him with ill intentions, he wouldn't have needed to waste time asking this old man to remove the poison from his body. Then, the current situation wouldn't have happened. But he couldn't say these things. Once Guo Yu said these things, who knew if Qi Qingzhu would be angry out of humiliation? Now he was in a really bad situation. Even though he knew that the old man had poisoned him, he still wanted to give him a bad ending, but he had to pretend that he didn't know anything. Think about it, if he let Qi Qingzhu know that he had been detoxified, what if Qi Qingzhu made another move? What if the old man couldn't solve it no matter how powerful he was? Then, wouldn't he have to wait for death? Now Guo Yu felt pretty good. He let Qi Qingzhu think that he didn't have a month to live, but he knew that he was safe and sound. Therefore, he and the old man's secret must be kept secret. He absolutely couldn't let Qi Qingzhu know about it. Although he missed Su Yun and the people around him this time, he absolutely didn't dare to push the blame to the old man. He didn't dare to let Qi Qingzhu know about the old man's existence. Sure enough, after Guo Yu went to Qi Qingzhu's room and explained the matter, he received a resounding slap in the face. This slap was truly earth-shattering. Guo Yu's eyes were filled with stars. What else do you think you can do? Why are you so useless? Qi Qingzhu was really speechless with Guo Yu. He couldn't do anything well. How could the Zhao family raise such a useless thing? If I'm useless, then what are you? You don't do anything, so why do you have so many problems? Guo Yu could only say this in his heart. He didn't dare to let Qi Qingzhu know his true thoughts. I asked you to go over immediately. Why didn't you go over? What were you doing? Qi Qingzhu said, Don't think that I don't know anything just because I didn't go out. I was watching you. How much time did you waste to go over? Tell me yourself. Guan Yu swallowed a mouthful of saliva. Old Mr. Qi, people have 3 needs. I ate something bad and had diarrhea. I couldn't do anything about it. Then you have been squatting in the bathroom for half an hour? Qi Qingzhu was really disgusted. Even if it was diarrhea, it didn't take half an hour to vent, right? Otherwise, where else could I go? Old Mr. Qi, look at me now. Do I look like I'm lying? Guan Yu said, I also want to settle things quickly. Qi Qingzhu took a deep breath. He really couldn't do anything. He only felt that Guan Yu's whole body was stinky. After all, this was a guy who vented in the bathroom for half an hour. It doesn't matter. Anyway, they will still go to work in the company. Qi Qingzhu said, you must not be careless again. If this kind of thing happens again, you'll get it from me. Guan Yu quickly nodded. Don't worry, I won't do it again. I'm telling you, you better remember it clearly. Qi Qingzhu said, this matter must be handled by you. If you want to be sneaky, even if I let you go, I believe the Zhao family won't let you go. Guan Yu's sore spot was poked. He didn't dare to be rash and could only let Qi Qingzhu scold him. Fortunately, Qi Qingzhu was a little disgusted with its smell on his body. He waved his hand to let him get out quickly. Guan Yu finally breathed a sigh of relief. However, this matter was not as easy as Guan Yu thought because in the next 2 days, Su Yun never appeared in their field of vision again. Not only that, but the people around Su Yun never appeared in their field of vision again. If 1 day was a coincidence, then 2 days must be a problem. There was no need for Qi Qingzhu to say anything. Guan Yu also felt that something was wrong. Could it be that they were exposed? How could it be? After all, they had been very low-key ever since they came to Qingdao. They were so low-key that even they felt that it was a little too much. Therefore, it was impossible for anyone to notice anything at all. Why? Guan Yu didn't dare to go to Qi Qingzhu's room because he was afraid that Qi Qingzhu would blame him and then scold him. During this period of time on Qingdao, Guan Yu had had enough. Qi Qingzhu beat and scolded him and didn't treat him as a person at all. If it weren't for his lack of ability, he really wanted to kill Qi Qingzhu with a knife. However, the matter couldn't be dragged on. Guan Yu knew that if he didn't show up, Qi Qingzhu would push all the blame to him in front of young Master Zhao. At that time, he would be wronged on both sides. Guan Yu had no choice but to force himself to be alert and prepare to go to Qi Qingzhu's room to be scolded. Qi Qingzhu's stomach was probably full of resentment. In the final analysis, he didn't want to drag it on Qingdao. Qi Qingzhu also wanted to solve the matter as soon as possible so that he could get the diamond necklace that belonged to the heart of heaven and earth. Seeing it reminded him of her. This damn Guan Yu was so unreliable and didn't do things properly. He made him wait for 2 days in vain. Of course, he couldn't stand it. Chapter 2881. In these 2 days, how could Su Yun not be unable to sit or stand still? After receiving Su Yun's notice, Yu Meiren immediately asked for instructions from her superiors. Although Su Yun didn't tell her the reason, her superiors definitely understood. If he didn't need Yu Meiren's help, Su Yun wouldn't discuss it with her. Moreover, after telling Yu Meiren about it, Su Yun immediately called Wan Guangxiao and told him about it. Wan Guangxiao knew that Su Yun must have encountered something dangerous, but he didn't ask too much. He was still confident in Su Yun's ability to control the situation. If he couldn't even control such a small thing, how could he dare to entrust the future to him? Therefore, Wan Guangxiao immediately supported him. Yu Meiren left Yanjing on the same day and went to Su Yun's side as soon as possible. Along the way, Yu Meiren was worried about Su Yun. She was afraid that something would happen to him. Fortunately, when she saw Su Yun, she was more or less relieved. However, when she knew what Su Yun was going to do, she was worried again. It wasn't that Yu Meiren wasn't confident in herself, but that Su Yun was too important to her. Yu Meiren's worry couldn't change anything. Su Yun would still do what he should do. Fortunately, Bai Xiaoye told Yu Meiren that Wu Qiuzi would be involved in this matter. Only then did Yu Meiren feel a little relieved. However, Wu Qiuzi had been wandering around for a year after coming to Huaxia. Although Ma Sana contacted him, he was in Kunlun Mountain. Yu Meiren had been in Qingdao for a day and a half, but Wu Qiuzi still didn't show up. Although Su Yun was certain that Wu Qiuzi would definitely come, it was another matter as to when he would arrive. Right now, time was still quite tight, so Su Yun was inevitably a little nervous. Fortunately, although Wu Qiuzi seemed unreliable, she was actually much more reliable. Finally, when night fell, she knocked on Su Yun's door. Lin Gu was stunned when he opened the door. He was speechless for a long time. He was so excited. "What's wrong? Aren't you going to invite me in?" Wu Qiuzi snorted and strode in. Everyone who was having dinner gathered around. Everyone was talking at the same time, and their spirits were high. Wu Qiuzi didn't stand on ceremony with Su Yun. After greeting everyone with a nod, she walked over and sat down. "Give me an extra seat. I haven't eaten anything all day because I was in a hurry." Bai Xiaoye hurriedly went to find a bowl and chopsticks for Wu Qiuzi. "Old topsy-turvy, I've really troubled you this time." Su Yun smiled and sat beside Wu Qiuzi. He took a cup and poured wine for Wu Qiuzi. "Drink some wine to relieve your tiredness. At least you have a conscience." Wu Qiuzi grinned and asked everyone to sit down and continue eating. They shouldn't be delayed because of him. Ruan Qingshuang went to the kitchen to cook 2 more dishes. Wu Qiuzi was a little embarrassed. She was too polite. They didn't go straight to the point. After Wu Qiuzi ate something to fill his stomach, he said, "I wandered around Kunlun Mountain for 3 months. If you had contacted me earlier, I might not have had the heart to come over." "Why did you go there?" Su Yun didn't understand. Wu Qiuzi took a sip of wine. "Because of something important, of course." After saying that, he took out a small box from his bosom. After opening it, the box was wrapped in several layers, revealing a white worm-like object. Everyone raised their heads and looked over curiously. Wu Qiuzi was immensely proud of himself. The people present certainly did not recognize this thing, so he could immediately show off his profound knowledge. However, at this moment, Yu Meiren exclaimed, "1,000-year-old poison worm?" Wu Qiuzi was stunned. Someone could recognize this thing. And it was such an inconspicuous young woman. Everyone's gazes landed on Beauty Yu curiously. "Sister, what's this 1,000-year-old poison worm?" Lin Gu was the most curious. Yu Meiren shook her head. "This is something from legends. How can it really exist?" When Wu Qiuzi heard this, she became proud again. "Hee, miss, some legends are pure nonsense, but some legends are not groundless." Yu Meiren wasn't like the others. She knew a little about these things, so she was even more shocked. The others didn't know at all, so they didn't understand what it meant. This white worm-like thing looked like a stone, but it was a living thing. It would only move when it was eating. Normally, it was entrenched like a stone. "Senior, is this really a 1,000-year-old poison worm?" Yu Meiren was still in shock. Wu Qiuzi was unhappy when he heard this. "Am I the kind of person who would take out fake things to fool people? It took me 3 months to find it. If I didn't catch it yesterday, even if Su Yun said he wanted to find me, I wouldn't have rushed back so quickly." Yu Meiren lowered her head in embarrassment. "I'm not doubting you, Senior. I'm just too shocked. This thing is so powerful. Is it that rare?" Su Yun said, "Old Topple, tell me about it. Let me tell you, this 1,000-year-old poison worm has lived for a very, very long time. It eats fu zi grass, water poison celery, acacia bean. In addition to these poisonous plants, it also likes to eat poison arrow frog, redback spider, golden scorpion, bullet ant, old forest mosquito. Anyway, it doesn't eat anything that isn't poisonous. No wonder it's called the 100 poison worm. What's so rare about this thing?" "Su Yun, it's just a worm that eats poison." Hey, you don't want it? Let me tell you, kid, the insides of this thing are extremely poisonous. But, If a capable person like me were to study it, perhaps it could become a miraculous elixir that can cure hundreds of poisons. There's no such thing in this world, Wu Qiuzi said confidently. Hearing this, Su Yun was really interested. You're saying that the insides of this thing can cure hundreds of poisons? Of course. Su Yun chuckled. Then I really found the right person to ask you to come this time. Everyone's faces were filled with surprise and joy. Wu Qiuzi was startled. What do you mean? Don't tell me that someone around you is poisoned and needs my help? Without waiting for Su Yun to speak, Wu Qiuzi waved her hand. Let me tell you, the insides of this thing are still poisonous. Without my research, it can't be used as medicine, so... I haven't even said anything. Why are you so nervous? Su Yun, don't worry, I have no intention of eating your precious thing. Then why did you ask me to come here? Wu Qiuzi said, I don't believe that you just want to see my precious thing. You're not interested. Zhua Meiyan finally couldn't help but cut to the chase. Su Yun is in trouble. Qi Qingzhu is now on Qingdao, and Qi Qingzhu's target is Su Yun. Wu Qiuzi was stunned. Qi Qingzhu? This name had disappeared for far too long. Since he was the vicious fairy doctor, how could he not know the name of the 5 poisons walker? Qi Qingzhu was known as the person who was the best at playing with poison. But hadn't he already retired and disappeared from the underground world? How could he appear here again? What made Wu Qiuzi even more puzzled was how he had gotten into a conflict with Su Yun. They were two completely different people. Wasn't this gap a bit too big? Old Wu, are you afraid after hearing Qi Qingzhu's name? Zhua Meiyan deliberately provoked her. Hee, no wonder people say that you, the vicious fairy doctor, are still inferior to old Poison Qi when it comes to playing with poison. It looks like it's true. This provocation was very useful. Even if Wu Qiuzi knew that she was provoking her, she still wouldn't hesitate to fall for it. What are you talking about? I'm afraid of him. Wu Qiuzi glared. Bah! I'm afraid of him. He's just an old thing who's past his prime. Let me tell you, he might have retired because he was afraid of me. How can I be afraid of him? Chapter 2882. Wu Qiuzi's words were very encouraging. At least, it showed that Wu Qiuzi was not someone to be trifled with. He was not afraid of old poison Qi Qingzhu. Like I said, as long as Elder Wu is here, that Qi Qingzhu is nothing. Bai Xiaoye also began to flatter. Although Wu Qiuzi enjoyed hearing these words, he was not confused. He waved his hand, indicating that they should stop flattering him. Brother, you really know how to stir up trouble. How did you even provoke that old poison? Wu Qiuzi turned around to look at Su Yun. Her expression slowly turned serious. Some words were just words, some were just words, some were just words, and some were just words. However, he knew the strength of his opponent better than anyone present. The 5 poison walker, Qi Qingzhu, was recognized as the #1 old poison in the underground world. This was not a groundless rumor. Although Wu Qiuzi was also known as the vicious doctor, his medical skills also held up half the sky. In the eyes of most people, he was a medical genius. Only a small number of people knew that he was also a vicious doctor. Based on this point, he knew the gap between him and old poison Qi Qingzhu. However, people were competitive, especially when Wu Qiuzi was younger. He also wanted to compete with old poison Qi and let people know how poisonous he was. However, Qi Qingzhu suddenly faded out of the underground world, which made Wu Qiuzi lose a competitor. Over time, old poison Qi faded out of his sight, and he no longer thought about competing with old poison Qi all day long. Do you think your brother is the kind of person who likes to cause trouble? Su Yun shook his head helplessly. Wu Qiuzi nodded very seriously. Yes. Your sister. Su Yun really wanted to cry. Old man, you really should know more about me. Come on, I already know you very well. Don't talk so much nonsense. Wu Qiuzi said, let me tell you, you'd better not talk to me like this. Do you know what I want to do the most now? Su Yun nodded. I know you very well. Even if you don't want to help me, you want to take this opportunity to meet Qi Qingzhu. It's good that you know. Wu Qiuzi said, then there's no need for them to be so courteous to me. If I don't restrain myself, I'll seem especially shameless. Ruan Qingxuang, who was about to make another cup of tea for Wu Qiuzi, didn't know whether she should continue. Bro, let's stop joking around, Su Yun said. I'll tell you what happened. When Su Yun explained the cause and effect of the matter, Wu Qiuzi also roughly understood why Qi Qingzhu came out to do things. However, there was one thing that Wu Qiuzi couldn't understand. Who exactly was that old man? If Wu Qiuzi were to simply play poison with Qi Qingzhu, he still had 50% confidence. However, when it came to strength and cultivation, Qi Qingzhu was far ahead of him. That old man had played a key role in this. Now, Wu Qiuzi's role was very accurate. He was to protect Su Yun. If Su Yun was poisoned by Qi Qingzhu, he would have to find a way to neutralize it. Speaking of which, this was a very stressful matter. Although Su Yun had also hired a helper for this. Yu Meiren looked young, but she was definitely knowledgeable. Otherwise, she wouldn't know about the Millennium Poisonous Bug. Wu Qiuzi could completely rest assured about the ability of this helper. However, he really hadn't seen how vicious this old man's poison was before. Elder Wu, how confident are you in this matter? Zhuo Meiyan asked. Wu Qiuzi was startled. How would I know? If Qi Qingzhu's poison is something I've seen before and I know how to treat it, then I'm 100% confident. However, if this old man's poison is something I've never seen before, then I can only... Didn't you just say that this Millennium Poisonous Bug can treat hundreds of poisons? Zhuo Meiyan said, the guts of this thing. What are you thinking about? Wu Qiuzi hurriedly put away his treasure. Let me tell you, this Millennium Poisonous Bug is full of poison. You'd better not touch it. If you're bitten by this thing, even the gods won't be able to save you. Zhuo Meiyan smiled awkwardly. She did have some selfish thoughts just now. She even wanted to skin this Millennium Poisonous Bug alive. Then, the guts could be made into medicine for Su Yun. At that time, wouldn't Su Yun not have to be afraid of Qi Qingzhu, this old man? How could Su Yun not see through Zhuo Meiyan's scheme? Alright, don't make trouble. This old man knows it clearly. It's good that you know. Don't try to confuse me. Wu Qiuzi said, since you dare to leave this matter to me, then you trust me. To be honest, I'm really happy. This life of mine is in your hands. I'm relieved. Su Yun's words were not only for Wu Qiuzi, but also for Yu Meiren and everyone present. Wu Qiuzi shook his head. Why do you think I like your personality so much? You're such an annoying guy. It can't be helped. Some things are already set in stone. Su Yun said, since you're here, can you still refuse my request? Ruan Qingxuang had been silent all this time. At this time, she couldn't help but say, of course you can. If you think you can't, then you should refuse. Wu Qiuzi was startled. He glanced at Ruan Qingxuang. He couldn't guess what Ruan Qingxuang was thinking, but he could guess what Su Yun was thinking. Sister-in-law, I know you're worried. Wu Qiuzi's address was indeed unexpected. Ruan Qingxuang didn't know how to respond. Sister Qingxuang's meaning is very simple. Elder Wu, if you feel confident, she will agree to let my brother take the risk. If you don't feel confident, she won't agree, Bai Xiaoya said. However, what you said just now is meaningless. It's meaningless. Wu Qiuzi finally understood. Su Yun, what do you think? Wu Qiuzi asked, do you have to do this? Su Yun nodded and didn't say anything. This showed his determination. Wu Qiuzi was silent for a while. He looked up at Ruan Qingxuang and said, I never lie. To be honest, I'm not confident. After all, the opponent is Qi Qingzhu, that old bastard. Su Yun was stunned. What's wrong with this old bastard? Ruan Qingxuang sighed helplessly. But since you said that I have to be confident before letting Su Yun take the risk, and Su Yun insists on taking the risk, then as his elder brother, I can only suffer a little. Wu Qiuzi said, I'll think of a way to solve this. Ruan Qingxuang was stunned. Do you have any other solutions? Wu Qiuzi lowered his head and looked at the 1,000-year-old poisonous bug he spent 3 months catching on Kunlun Mountain. He muttered to himself, of course. Everyone's expressions gradually became more cheerful. Zhua Meiyan knew what Wu Qiuzi was thinking. Wu Qiuzi suddenly turned to Yu Meiren and asked, Little girl from a Yu family, do you have the confidence to help me? Yu Meiren nodded. Elder Wu, if there's anything you need, just let me know. Then I'll have to trouble you to be my assistant. I want to solve the problem of guarantee as quickly as possible. Only when I have the confidence can I let my brother become a hero smoothly. I don't want to see him die before me. Although Wu Qiuzi's words were a bit rude, they were reasonable. This matter was obviously reasonable. I won't let down Elder Wu's trust, Yu Meiren said. I believe that your ability must be higher than my judgment of you. Wu Qiuzi grinned. I'll definitely trust you. Ruan Qingxuang finally breathed a sigh of relief. Mr. Wu, is this really okay? These are poisonous bugs. For my brother, even if it's 10 or 100 of them, I'm willing. Wu Qiuzi's words were very clear. Chapter 2883. Su Yun smiled and said, Elder brother, how am I worthy for you to treat me like this? I'm embarrassed. Because there's only one Su Yun in this world. Wu Qiuzi said seriously, this 1,000-year-old 100-poison bug is as rare as a phoenix's feather and Qilin's horn. I might not be able to find another one even if I spend another 3 years. However, I can still live for another 30 years. There will be plenty of opportunities. But if you're gone, then it's gone. I won't be able to find another Su Yun even if I live for another 300 years, right? Su Yun smiled and didn't say anything. He felt a little embarrassed after hearing Elder Wu's words. He didn't expect Elder Wu to have such a high opinion of him. Ruan Qingxuang's heart that had been hanging in the air finally settled down. With old Master Wu Qiuzi's words, she felt more at ease than anything else. Big Sister Qingxuang, you won't have to lose sleep anymore. Bai Xiaoye was also very happy. This is super reliable. Yu Meiren also nodded at Ruan Qingxuang, indicating that she would do her best. She wouldn't let Su Yun be in danger. The gallbladder of this 1,000-year-old 100-poison bug was indeed a wondrous item. As long as it was used correctly and its poison was suppressed, it would be the nemesis of all poisons in the world. It could be said that there was no poison in the world that couldn't be suppressed by this gallbladder. Ruan Qingxuang already believed Wu Qiuzi, but she still wanted to hear Yu Meiren's confirmation. Is it really possible? Yu Meiren nodded and said with certainty, It's really possible. Wu Qiuzi said with a hint of jealousy, cough, cough, cough. You still don't believe me? Do I need to find someone to reassure you? You don't believe in this old man's abilities. Elder Wu, that's not what I meant. Ruan Qingxuang explained embarrassedly, I'm just a little excited, so. Don't worry. Wu Qiuzi said, I won't say anything else. So far, I'm 100% confident. Yu Meiren chimed in, Elder Wu, Sister Shuang really didn't mean it that way. She only asked me for reassurance. Actually, she still trusts you. Your ability and prestige are far higher than mine. Especially your understanding of poisons, which is many levels higher than mine. Wu Qiuzi laughed. She didn't expect that Su Yun's life was full of trials and tribulations, but his harem was so harmonious. His luck with women was truly enviable. Wu Qiuzi nodded. Miss you, not only are you beautiful, but you're also very sweet. Actually, Sister Yu's ability is not bad at all. Zhua Meiyan said, Old Wu, I'm sure you'll be glad to have such an assistant by your side. Reality had proven that Zhua Meiyan's words were quite prescient. Although the gallbladder of the 1,000-year-old poisonous insect was a good thing, it was still a poisonous gallbladder. After all, it was one of the most poisonous things in the world. Although Wu Qiuzi had a lot of experience, he only had experience. His brain couldn't remember some of the theoretical things. In the past, when he made poisons or antidotes, he would casually experiment when he couldn't remember. Anyway, he wouldn't waste much time. He knew the basic theory, but he would get the properties of one or two things mixed up. For example, he couldn't guarantee that he would remember all of them. This didn't affect Wu Qiuzi at all. However, there was a problem now. It really did affect him. Previously, Wu Qiuzi didn't mind giving it a try. However, he only had 1,000-year-old poisonous insect now, and this 1,000-year-old poisonous insect only had one gallbladder for him to use. Therefore, he had to clearly understand the properties of all the substances he needed to suppress the poison in the gallbladder, especially some Chinese herbs that could restrain the poison. He didn't know the properties of those things that he needed the most. He only knew what properties he needed. As for which properties, he had to try them out. However, it was different with Yu Meiren. As long as Wu Qiuzi told Yu Meiren what properties and effects he needed, Yu Meiren would be able to immediately think of the corresponding properties. This was the biggest difference between an academic doctor and an unorthodox doctor. One valued experience, while the other relied on knowledge. However, it was very difficult to combine these two together in one person. Once a person had experience, they wouldn't want to look at the basic knowledge. Even if they didn't know the name of a certain herb, they would know the effect of this thing, and that was enough. Once a person had knowledge, it was very difficult for them to casually experiment like an unorthodox doctor. It was very difficult for them to learn valuable experience from this kind of practice. This was the biggest difference between Wu Qiuzi and Yu Meiren. However, this time, they were able to cooperate, which also made them realize that they each lacked something. For example, only Wu Qiuzi dared to use the gallbladder of the 1,000-year-old poisonous worm as an antidote. Even if Yu Meiren knew that the gallbladder could be used as an antidote, she had no way to think about how to make this highly poisonous thing into an antidote. Really, she wouldn't even think about such a possibility. However, Wu Qiuzi dared to think about it because his experience told him that it was definitely possible. After all, he had also read some books. Combined with his years of experience, he could be sure that it was reliable. However, Yu Meiren, who had only read books, didn't dare to be sure that it was reliable. Because what she lacked the most was Wu Qiuzi's experience. With Yu Meiren as an assistant, Wu Qiuzi was much more relaxed. There were many things that he didn't need to verify and inquire about. Yu Meiren could directly be used as an encyclopedia in the medical field. To be honest, Wu Qiuzi was really shocked. Such a young girl had memorized so many things in her mind that he didn't even dare to think about it. The two didn't even rest. Wu Qiuzi was also a person who was easily excited, so he started to prepare that night. Yu Meiren, who was a workaholic, naturally could be integrated into it immediately. Although Su Yun knew a little about medical things, he really didn't have the patience to do what Wu Qiuzi and Yu Meiren did. It was really boring. As for Lin Ge, he didn't even look at it. He wasn't interested in it at all. After all, everyone didn't sleep. He and Cho Yun stayed outside to keep watch. These 2 days had passed too quickly. They were also worried that Su Yun wouldn't show up. The people at the hotel would be suspicious. At that time, it would be troublesome if they started to investigate their location. What if they really found out? After all, this place was such a good house. If they sold it and moved to another place, it would be too wasteful. They really hoped this matter would pass as soon as possible. That night, everyone didn't sleep. Even Ruan Qingshuang, who hadn't spoken much, wanted to see what Wu Qiuzi could make as soon as possible. This was too important. It was so important that none of them could close their eyes and not think about it. Just like that, before the night passed, everyone felt that time passed very slowly. However, when the night passed and the sky was slightly bright, everyone was a little surprised. Why did the night pass so quickly? Because they hadn't heard from Wu Qiuzi and Yu Meiren that they had succeeded. Although the rising sun represented hope, at this moment, they felt that hope was constantly burning away. However, Wu Qiuzi was Wu Qiuzi, and the vicious immortal doctor was the vicious immortal doctor. Just when everyone thought that there was no hope, he walked out of the room where they made the medicine. "I told you, there's nothing that can stop me. Isn't it just a poison gall? If I want it to become medicine, it must become medicine for me." Wu Qiuzi's eyes were bloodshot. The joy of success made him unable to use words to describe the surging excitement in his heart. Chapter 28-84. Although the night was not as thrilling as it seemed, everyone involved knew how turbulent it was. At least, Yu Marin's heart was in her throat the entire time. She was worried every minute that something would go wrong. After all, it was impossible to find a second millennium poison bug in such a short time. It took Wu Qiuzi 3 months to find this one, and that was because his luck was too good. When he stepped into the Kunlun Mountains, he accidentally came across this thing. Otherwise, he would not have thought of catching this millennium poison bug at all. He only wanted to find some rare medicinal ingredients. All of this was luck. However, the luckiest person was Su Yun. Before he risked his life, he was able to obtain the antidote that Wu Qiuzi refined to save his life. This kind of luck was not something that just anyone could have. "You can rest assured now." Wu Qiuzi smiled. "At least I can guarantee. My guarantee should be convincing enough, right?" "Of course, at least I believe it," Su Yun said. After Zhua Meiyan saw this medicine, she immediately wanted Su Yun to eat it. "Then hurry up and eat it. Old Wu, what do you need to use to take this medicine? Warm water? Yellow wine? Or something else?" No matter what special request he had, Zhua Meiyan would find a way to get it done for Su Yun. Wu Qiuzi smiled. "No matter what you use to take this medicine, it is better to take it with water from the rootless snow of the 12th lunar month." Zhua Meiyan was stunned. "Why is that?" "Because this 1,000-year-old 100 poison bug belongs to a very fire-type species, and its guts are naturally a very unusual hot substance." Wu Qiuzi said, "So if you want to take this medicine, you cannot use warm water or wine. Wine is also a hot substance. It needs to be washed down with cold water. Of course, it does not have to be the rootless snow of the 12th lunar month. The mineral water in the fridge is enough." "Then why did you say that it would be better to use the snow of the 12th lunar month?" Zhua Meiyan was still very concerned about this matter. She did not want Su Yun to have any side effects. Wu Qiuzi said, "The rootless snow of the 12th lunar month can better suppress the heat of the venomous insect's innards. In other words, it can guarantee that Su Yun will not get heaty easily in the future." Su Yun was taken aback. There were side effects to this thing? It wasn't a good thing to get heaty so easily. Just the nosebleed alone was enough to make people speechless. "If I use ice water from the fridge, it won't have the same effect?" Zhua Meiyan frowned slightly. Wu Qiuzi nodded. "There is, but it's definitely not as good as the snow of the 12th lunar month. The snow of the 12th lunar month can basically guarantee that there won't be any side effects, but ice water, I can't guarantee it," Zhua Meiyan said seriously. "Then you must ensure that there are no side effects." "It snowed a few days ago, so I did prepare some." Ruan Qingxuang's words surprised everyone. Who would take something to catch snow for no reason? Zhua Meiyan's face was filled with confusion. "No way. You, why would you prepare something like this? Sister Qingxuang, you really are a prophet. Did you know that my brother would need this snow today?" Bai Xiaoye opened her mouth in shock. Lin Gu couldn't wait to look for it. He only glanced at Ruan Qingxuang. Before he could say anything, Ruan Qingxuang understood what he meant. "The double-door fridge on the left. It's in the transparent safety box on the right." Lin Gu ran to the kitchen. "You really are a prophet. You can even guess what little pigeon is thinking," Zhua Meiyan said with a smile. Actually, everyone could see Lin Ji's thoughts at a glance. Ruan Qingxuang wasn't so prophetic. In ancient times, scholars would sweep the fresh snow off the branches and boil it to make tea. Not only is it refreshing, but it also has a certain fitness effect. From the perspective of traditional Chinese medicine, water is yin, and snow is cold. Snow is the yin of yin. The cold can clear away heat and has the effect of detoxifying and expelling toxins. Snow is white and flawless. When it enters the lungs, it can clear away toxins in the lungs. Snow turns into water, and the water enters the kidneys, which is beneficial to the kidneys and nourishes yin. Yu Meiren was stunned. Sister Shuang, I didn't expect you to be so knowledgeable about this. Sister Shuang is also good at making medicinal cuisine. I know a little about these things, Zhuo Meiyan said. She's an experienced person. Yu Meiren was quite surprised. If Ruan Qingxuang had the chance, she might become a very powerful person in the medical field. Bai Xiaoye also said, I've also read the Compendium of Materia Medica. It says that lacerated snow is cold and non-toxic. It can cure all poisons. It can cure plagues when the sky moves, causing children to have seizures and cry crazily. It can be used warm for adults to have extreme fever after drinking and jaundice. It can also be used to boil tea and make porridge to quench thirst. It's scary to be educated. Wu Qiuzi laughed. I'm far inferior to you. What Wu Qiuzi knew was based on her experience. It wasn't recorded in a compendium. The snow water was sweet to begin with. In the 12th lunar month, the sea breeze was strong, so the rootless snow didn't contain any impurities. It was a heaven-sent medicine. Even if it was drunk directly, it was good for healthy people, diabetes, tuberculosis, high blood pressure, and hyperlipidemia. Especially for friends who like to drink tea, it was better to try the snow water tea. It had a different taste. Wu Qiuzi liked the snow water tea. However, the air was too bad now, and the smog was too strong. Whether it was green tea or flower tea, they weren't as sweet as before. However, it could still cool down the body, wake up the head, and calm the mind. It was too wonderful for words. For those who were addicted to alcohol, they would often feel dizzy from drinking too much. If they could drink 2 cups of warm snow water, it would be more effective than the Sea King's golden goblet. Now, there was a medical research organization that claimed that drinking snow water could restore the shrunken body cells and make them look younger. Wu Qiuzi also believed this. It was indeed reasonable. Snow water contained more enzyme compounds than normal water. Drinking 1 cup a day could significantly reduce blood cholesterol. It could definitely prevent arteriosclerosis. Moreover, since ancient times, scholars like to sweep the snow off the plum blossom branches and store it in the cellar to drink in the summer to relieve the heat. Lin Gu quickly found the container and ran back excitedly. Sister Qing Shuang, why did you take so many containers? What are you going to do with them? I want to wait until the end of spring when it's dry and use this to boil pear water for you to drink and nourish your lungs, Ruan Qingxuang said. I didn't expect it to have such a big effect. This is called Heaven's Will. Wu Qiuzi smiled. Then quickly melt the water and let Su Yun take the medicine, Zhuo Meiyan said. Su Yun didn't know whether to laugh or cry. I haven't been poisoned yet. Why should I take the medicine? Wait until I'm poisoned. Isn't it safer to take it first? Zhuo Meiyan said. Wu Qiuzi hurriedly stopped Zhuo Meiyan's ridiculous actions. She didn't care about the medicine. She made it for Su Yun. He can't take it now. If he takes it, he'll lose his life. Sister Meiyan, this medicine isn't something that can be taken casually. Yu Meiren explained. The antidote made from the 100 poison bugs gall isn't an ordinary antidote. It's a kind of poison. If a person is poisoned, this poison can fight poison with poison. However, if the person isn't poisoned, this medicine. What's wrong with this medicine? Zhuo Meiyan was startled. It's one of the world's top poisons, Yu Meiren said seriously. When they heard that this thing was poison, they were a little nervous. Don't worry. I know when to take this thing and when not to, Wu Qiuzi said. As long as it's a poison that I, Wu Qiuzi, can cure, I won't let Su Yun take it. Wu Qiuzi's words had a reassuring effect. At the very least, they didn't feel too scared. Have a little more confidence. Since the fairy doctor said so, what else do you have to worry about? Su Yun laughed. Don't take this blood back. Boil some water and make some tea for me. I'll have a cup of tea and get ready to do business. He hadn't appeared in front of them for so many days. They probably couldn't wait any longer. I'll go with you, Wu Chozi said. With me by your side, they'll feel more at ease. Aren't you afraid of being recognized? Su Yun said. You're not afraid, but I'm a little worried. Wu Chozi said. So what? I have to go with you. At worst, I'll just stay in the car and not show my face. I'll go too, Yu Meiren said. Su Yun and Wu Chozi said at the same time, You don't have to go. Chapter 2885. In everyone's eyes, Qi Qingzhu was someone they should stay as far away from as possible, regardless of whether they truly understood how terrifying Qi Qingzhu was. Based on this point alone, Su Yun would never agree to let Yu Meiren take the risk with him. He even didn't want Wu Chozi to go with him, even if he would only stay in the car and not show his face. Even Wu Chozi and Su Yun immediately rejected Yu Meiren's request. One could imagine how difficult this matter was. However, the more it was like this, the more worried Yu Meiren was. If it wasn't too dangerous, they wouldn't have rejected her request so quickly. Su Yun was in danger, but she couldn't even be by his side. Of course, Yu Meiren couldn't accept it. Listen carefully. This matter isn't as simple as you think, but it's definitely not as difficult as you think, Su Yun said. There are people there who can help me, so you can't go. Ruan Qingxuang and Zhuo Meiyan were also worried about Su Yun, but they didn't say anything because they knew very well that they couldn't help much even if they went. Instead, they would only distract Su Yun. Sister Yu, you should know my brother well, Bai Xiaoye said. It's better if we don't go, in case he loses focus because of us. Yu Meiren shook her head. I'm different from you. After all, I'm a medical student. If something happens... Don't worry, I'm here, Lin Gu said. Even if there's really danger, I'll be the first to stand in front of my brother. You're not allowed to go either. Su Yun rejected Lin Gu. Lin Gu was a little depressed. Why can't I go? I have a brother who can protect himself, and I can help. If I say you're not allowed to go, then you're not allowed to go. Su Yun did not wait for Lin Gu to finish his words. This matter is too special. Do you understand? I'm Qi Qingzhu's target. His target is me. There's no point for you to be with me. Besides, I have old Topple with me, which is enough to deal with any accidents. Lin Gu was still not satisfied with this arrangement. Brother, my role is different from old Wu's. There's still an old man at the hotel. With him helping me, there's nothing for you to worry about. Su Yun, on the contrary, I'm the one who's worried about this place. You don't have to worry about this side, Zhuo Meiyan said. We aren't pushovers either. Su Yun glanced at Lin Gu. With you here, I'll be more at ease. I won't be distracted by any distracting thoughts. Do you understand? Lin Gu was silent for more than 10 seconds before he nodded heavily. This kid is very obedient. Wu Chozi chuckled. Lin Gu said in a heavy tone, Brother, I know you have your reasons for this arrangement. Don't worry, I won't have any problems. I believe you, Su Yun said. If the Zhao family arranges for other people to cause trouble, even if I die, I won't let any harm come to them. Lin Gu made a military promise. Bai Xiaoye glared at him. Can't you be more auspicious with your words? Are we that weak? Yes, we don't dare let anything happen to you. Zhuo Meiyan also smiled. If something happens to you, what will happen to Fengya? Sister, you're talking as if I need your protection. No matter what, I'm still a man. Lin Gu muttered. Of course you're a man, a real man, Zhuo Meiyan said. Then you should consider your Fengya even more. Don't say such things in the future. Lin Gu nodded. He knew Zhuo Meiyan's painstaking efforts. I've said what I needed to say and done what I needed to do. You guys stay and do what you need to do. Su Yun said, I'll be fine. Even if you don't believe me, you should believe in old Mister's ability. Bai Xiaoye handed Su Yun's phone over. Before you go, you should contact Bai Liang and let him tell old Mister so he can be prepared. Su Yun nodded. I will. Don't worry. Wait for me to come back. Wu Qiuzi handed the antidote to Yu Meiren. I'll leave this treasure to you. I can only trust you here. The others don't know where to place this thing. Remember, don't let them touch it out of curiosity. Don't blame me if they can't cure it. Yu Meiren nodded. Don't worry, Elder Wu. I know what to do. Elder Wu, do you really think we're 3-year-old children? Zhuo Meiyan said, we're not so curious as to taste it like children. Don't even touch it, Wu Qiuzi said. Remember what I said. Ruan Qingshuang nodded. Elder Wu. Elder Wu, I'll leave Su Yun to you. I'll be here. No matter what happens to Sister Yu, I'll help her. Without further ado, Su Yun and Wu Qiuzi finally started the car and hit the road. Brother, are you really going to throw caution to the wind and risk your life to play with me? Su Yun chuckled as he drove. This is really something that can't be guaranteed. Wu Qiuzi said, I've wanted to see Qi Qingzhu for a long time, but I didn't have the chance. You finally gave me this chance. Do you think I'll miss it? Of course not. Su Yun said, if it were me, I believe I wouldn't want to miss such an opportunity. That's why I said you shouldn't think too much. I'm not just helping you. I also have my own motives and selfishness. Wu Qiuzi said, if I can cure Qi Qingzhu's poison this time, then his 5 poison walker will be nothing in the underground world in the future. Who dares to say that my poison is not as good as his? Who dares to say that I can't do it? Su Yun smiled slightly. Brother, even if everyone says you can't do it, I believe you can do it because I know you better than anyone else. It doesn't mean anything if you say I can do it. Wu Qiuzi said, I want everyone to say I can do it, everyone. Everyone. You're already so old, why are you still so stubborn? Su Yun shook his head helplessly. You really don't make people worry. I don't make people worry? Humph, come on, I think you're the one who doesn't make people worry. Wu Qiuzi said, I think as your brother, I need to persuade you to mind your own business in the future. Su Yun smiled but didn't say anything. He didn't respond to this topic. Don't you know what it means to mind your own business? Wu Qiuzi said, you're still so young. You still have a long way to go. Don't think about everything. Su Yun nodded. I understand what you mean. I'll do my best. I'm not asking you to do your best, but I want you to promise me. Wu Qiuzi said, don't tell me that you're helpless and have no choice. Let me tell you, a person's brain is in his own head. A person's arms and legs are also on his body. As long as he doesn't want to do something, no one can force him to do it. Su Yun shrugged his shoulders. There are always exceptions to everything. You always have to consider something that you have to consider. Wu Qiuzi shook his head. A generation is a generation. Even if Zhuo Langyue told you that your father owes the Jiang family something, it's your father who should solve it himself, not you who should solve it for him. Su Yun didn't speak anymore. Besides, Zhuo Langyue didn't say what your father owes the Jiang family, did she? Wu Qiuzi said, why do you have to admit it? Su Yun shook his head. I can't deny it. I believe that my stepmother won't say that without evidence. Then why hasn't she shown up yet? Wu Qiuzi said, sometimes, women are really unreliable. Even Qi Qingzhu, that old poisonous monster, is involved in this matter, yet she can still sit still and do nothing. I really have to hand it to her. Su Yun smiled. It's not a big deal. She was the one who asked me to do this. I just need to do my best. Why should I think about whether she'll help me with something as simple as that? It's not a problem at all. Wu Qiuzi nodded. Well, you're big-hearted, so you don't think it's a problem. But my old bones can't. I'm small-hearted. I think it's not a small matter at all. It's big enough. Chapter 2886. No matter how big or small it was, this matter had to be solved. This was what Su Yun thought in his heart. No matter what the matter looked like in Wu Qiuzi's eyes, Su Yun couldn't solve it according to the way others defined. If so, he wouldn't be Su Yun. Forget it, I'm too lazy to care about you. Wu Qiuzi closed his eyes. I still think selfishly. If it weren't for you, I wouldn't have had the chance to learn from Qi Qingzhu. Su Yun smiled and said, It's good that you can think that way. I don't have so much pressure. Wu Qiuzi didn't say anything more. He sat comfortably in the car. His calm appearance covered up his tumultuous heart, and there was no movement at all. On the way, Su Yun called little Dong Bei and asked him to inform the old man that he had prepared everything and would arrive at the hotel soon. Although little Dong Bei was still in a state of ignorance about this matter, he could roughly figure out what the situation was now. After the old man received the notice, he showed an imperceptible smile and said to himself, The time is just right. Why did the old man say so? Of course, he had his reasons. 2 days of waiting had touched Qi Qingzhu's bottom line. If Su Yun didn't appear, Qi Qingzhu, this old poisonous man, might do something unexpected. At that time, things would be more troublesome than now. And it was very likely to involve innocent people. These things were unpredictable, so no one dared to gamble. In addition, if Su Yun appeared early, Qi Qingzhu wouldn't be nervous. He might not make a move, or he might have some more insidious schemes. But Su Yun happened to appear at this time. Qi Qingzhu would more or less have some fluctuations. Only in this way would he make a move in a hurry. Only in this way could everything go according to their plan. What is just right? Little Dong Bei asked, puzzled. The old man smiled slightly. The rest is none of your business. You can do what you should do. The rest is what Su Yun and I will do. Little Northeast had a helpless look on his face. He didn't feel like he was involved in this. He didn't seem to have done anything about this. Forget it. You guys have important things to do. I don't understand and won't do it, Little Northeast said. When you need me, I'll be there. Remember. The old man nodded. Of course I remember. Little Northeast turned around and prepared to leave. The old man reminded him again, Don't ask Su Yun out of curiosity. After Su Yun comes to the hotel, if he doesn't have a clear request, don't approach him. Little Northeast was stunned for a moment. He didn't ask why. He just nodded and left. Guan Yu, who was at the end of his rope and didn't know what to do next, fell into despair. At this moment, he saw Su Yun's car appear at the hotel. The moment Su Yun got out of the car, he felt as if his entire body had been ignited. This was truly a case of there being light at the end of the tunnel. The excited Guan Yu didn't even think about it and secretly watched Su Yun. After arriving at the hotel, he went straight to the front desk. When the girl at the front desk saw that the big boss had arrived, she immediately greeted him. Su Yun didn't waste any time and asked the front desk to book a room for him. This room was next to the old man's. After Su Yun took the room card, he went straight to the room. Guan Yu didn't think much about it. The room Su Yun went to was next to the room of the old man who saved his life. He saw the floor where the elevator stopped and ran up the stairs. Originally, he was worried that he wouldn't be able to determine the room number Su Yun entered. However, when he reached the floor, he heard Su Yun talking on the phone in the corridor. Call me when you arrive. I'm resting in the hotel. Su Yun held the phone and said, In an hour? Okay, we'll meet in the hotel lobby in an hour and set off immediately. I've already arranged for Los Angeles. Someone will receive us when we arrive. After hanging up the phone, Su Yun found the room card and went in to rest. This was enough for Guan Yu to secretly see where he entered the room. Moreover, the amount of information in this phone call was enough. Guan Yu didn't dare to delay for a second and rushed directly to Qi Qingzhu's room. He didn't care whether he would disturb Qi Qingzhu at this time. "Old Mr. Qi, are you there? Open the door." When Guan Yu knocked on the door, Qi Qingzhu was meditating. Qi Qingzhu, who was disturbed, was obviously in a bad mood. When Qi Qingzhu opened the door angrily, Guan Yu quickly came in and closed the door. "Bad news, old Mr. Qi. Bad news." "What's the matter? Just say it." Qi Qingzhu was very dissatisfied with Guan Yu's panicked attitude. "Don't tell me you don't know how to deal with things? What's the matter that makes you so flustered? You're really a good-for-nothing, a bastard." Guan Yu didn't care about cursing in his heart. "Old Mr. Qi, it's Su Yun. Su Yun is here." Qi Qingzhu's face instantly relaxed. "Is this bad news?" This was clearly a joyous occasion. He had waited for so long before Su Yun appeared. This Guan Yu was really an unreasonable good-for-nothing. How could he say that this was bad news? Qi Qingzhu simply couldn't understand how the Zhao family raised such a good-for-nothing. "Old Mr. Qi, I know you're scolding me in your heart, but let me finish." Guan Yu said, "It's like this. I just told Su Yun where he's staying in his room. He kept calling and making an appointment with someone. He said that he'll meet in the hotel lobby in an hour. After that, he'll fly to Los Angeles." When Qi Qingzhu heard this, he was really stunned. "What? Los Angeles? In an hour?" Qi Qingzhu stared at Guan Yu again. "Are you sure you heard it clearly? That's what they said. He'll go to the airport and fly to Los Angeles in an hour." "That's right. That's why I said that it's bad news." Guan Yu said, "Old Mr. Qi, we don't have much time left. We have to do something immediately. Otherwise, once Su Yun leaves, who knows how long we'll have to wait." "Then what about the people around Su Yun? Do something." Qi Qingzhu said angrily. Guan Yu said aggrievedly, "No one has shown up for the past 2 days. Where am I going to find them?" "Old Mr. Qi, you know all this. I really don't have a choice now. I can't find anyone to threaten Su Yun in an hour." Qi Qingzhu took a deep breath. This really made him quite depressed, quite angry, and quite irritated. Damn it! Damn Su Yun! Damn Guan Yu! "Old Mr. Qi, we can't wait any longer. You have to take action personally to resolve this matter. If you still don't take action, then Su Yun will really leave. Then, I really can't do anything about this matter. I can only explain it to young Master Zhao as it is. You still want to threaten me with the kid from the Zhao family?" Qi Qingzhu's face was gloomy. Guan Yu shook his head. "No, no, no. I definitely don't dare. I'm just worried that old Mr. Qi won't be able to get the Heaven and Earth Returns diamond pendant." Qi Qingzhu took a deep breath. This B***** really wanted to threaten him with something. At some point, Qi Qingzhu really wanted to strangle Guan Yu to death. However, after calming down, Qi Qingzhu still had to accept the current situation. Although it wasn't very good, at least it wasn't too bad. After all, the initiative was still in their hands. Since there was no way to solve the problem with the best method, they could only start with Su Yun. Unfortunately, these 2 days would be wasted in vain. How could Qi Qingzhu not be angry? "Are you very sure about the room where Su Yun is now?" Qi Qingzhu asked. Guan Yu nodded desperately. "I'm very sure. Very sure." Qi Qingzhu stood up, picked up his coat and put it on. "Take me there now. Since you can't solve anything, I have to do it myself." Guan Yu nodded and bowed as he went to the front to open the door for Qi Qingzhu. As long as Qi Qingzhu took action, he wouldn't complain even if he had to be a grandson. With old Mr. Qi taking action, this matter will definitely succeed. Guan Yu nodded and bowed as he didn't forget to flatter. Qi Qingzhu was too lazy to pay attention to him. He strode out of the door. There was only an hour left. How could Qi Qingzhu not know the urgency of time? If it weren't for the urgency of time, he wouldn't be so anxious to take action himself. All of this was fate. It was all arranged by fate. Chapter 28:87. Su Yun's plan was carried out according to the old man's plan. He believed that Qi Qingzhu should have received the news by now. If they came knocking on his door in a short period of time, then everything would be completed according to their plan. If things didn't go according to plan, then they would have to reconsider their actions. Of course, Su Yun still hoped that things could be completed according to their plan. That way, there would be no loss for any of them. The old man, who was only one wall away, knew what Su Yun was worried about. However, he believed that with Su Yun's ability, it should be quite easy to deal with this kind of thing. Su Yun took a few deep breaths and finally calmed himself down. Everything went smoother than he imagined. About 5 minutes later, there was a knock on the door. "Who is it?" Su Yun tried to appear as calm as possible. "Mr. Su, it's me. Although you don't know me, I believe you will be interested to talk to me." Qi Qingzhu's voice was hoarse and dry. "Can you do me the honor?" Su Yun was stunned. Before opening the door, he still maintained his posture. "I don't have an appointment. If you want to talk business, you'd better contact my secretary." "I'm not here to talk business," Qi Qingzhu said. Qi Qingzhu said, "If you don't want to see me, no problem. I guarantee that one person will die here every minute in your hotel. Whether it's a guest or a staff member, I'll choose based on my mood. I believe that if this hour passes like this, then this movie hotel will be rumored to be a haunted place, right?" "Who exactly are you?" Su Yun opened the door and asked even though he already knew the answer. Qi Qingzhu did not intend to be polite at all. He strode into the room. "Mr. Su, you will know who I am in a while." Guo Yu followed closely behind Qi Qingzhu and walked into Su Yun's room. Neither of them realized that this was the big jar used to catch turtles, and the two of them swaggered in. "I don't have much patience. If you have something to say it quickly." Su Yun didn't close the door and walked back in. "Take care. I won't see you out." Qi Qingzhu gave Guo Yu a look and asked him to close the door. Su Yun glared at the two of them. "It seems that this matter is still shameful?" "It's not that shameful, but it's not as complicated as you think," Qi Qingzhu said. "I just want to talk to you about the two people from the Jiang family." Su Yun smiled faintly. He had already put on an act, and there was no point in continuing to put on an act. "So the two of you were sent here by young Master Zhao. I apologize for my disrespect." Although Qi Qingzhu was still calm, Guo Yu's expression changed immediately. The feeling of being exposed by Su Yun on the spot was not that pleasant. "You? How did you know?" Guo Yu was starting to panic. Su Yun smiled. "You can't be so impatient, right? If I say that I know more, won't you run away?" Qi Qingzhu gave Guo Yu a look and motioned for him to calm down. He believed that Su Yun would not know so many things. It was just a coincidence that a blind cat ran into a dead mouse. "Don't be an alarmist, Director Su. What else do you know?" "You can say it," Qi Qingzhu said. "Forget about those empty words. We're all people who have experienced things before, so it won't scare anyone." Indeed, Qi Qingzhu of the Five Poison Walker is indeed someone who has experienced big things. Su Yun smiled. "And this Mr. Guo under Zhao Zihu seems to be much more immature." This time, even Qi Qingzhu was stunned by Su Yun. Su Yun even knew his name. This really made Qi Qingzhu feel an uncontrollable chill. His entire back was covered in cold sweat. What kind of person was Su Yun? How could he know everything? This really made Qi Qingzhu feel incredulous. This was impossible, absolutely impossible. Qi Qingzhu was confident that he had been very careful ever since he came to Guqin Island. It was absolutely impossible for Su Yun to discover his identity. Moreover, he had been hiding for so many years. Even if there were people who knew him in this underground world who met him, they might not even be able to remember his appearance for a while. How did this brat guess his identity so quickly? Qi Qingzhu's gaze fell on Guayu. If there was a mistake, it must be this bastard's problem. It must be this unreliable bastard who leaked the news. Guayu shook his head repeatedly. He explained to Qi Qingzhu, "This is the first time I've seen him. It's impossible for him to know so many things. Old Mr. Qi, you have to believe me. It's definitely not my fault." Qi Qingzhu, this matter is indeed not his fault. Su Yun smiled slightly. The fault lies with you. Who asked you to be so notorious? Even after so many years, once you appear, you still carry a stench that can't be erased. It's hard not to recognize you. Qi Qingzhu took a deep breath to adjust his emotions while analyzing the situation. I don't know how you know all this, and I don't want to know. But no matter what you know or don't know, today's matter must be solved. Okay, tell me a solution. Su Yun, coincidentally, I also want to solve it. Qi Qingzhu gritted his teeth and said, Is everything today a scheme of yours? That depends on how you interpret it. Su Yun, if you insist on thinking that way, then I have to admit it. Even if I don't admit it, you won't believe it. But with just you, aren't you a little too inexperienced? Qi Qingzhu said, Su Yun, don't think that you don't know the immensity of heaven and earth just because you have some skills. Tonight, I will definitely make you regret it. As you wish, Su Yun, but are you so confident that you can leave smoothly after injuring me? Qi Qingzhu sneered. Do you think that those people around you have the ability to stop me? Even you don't have that confidence, do you? Chapter 2888. Old Mr. Qi, you can't treat me like this. Guayu was a little angry. You should at least tell me first so that I can be prepared. Qi Qingzhu didn't care about Guayu at all. To be honest, Guayu was not a person at all in his eyes. Guayu's life was really not worth mentioning to him, so he didn't care whether this person lived or died in the end. Guayu might have been a little useful in the past, but now, he might really be useless, right? A person who was meaningless to him, whether he lived or died really didn't matter to Qi Qingzhu. If he died, he was Zhao Zihu's dog. Zhao Zihu probably didn't care, so why should Qi Qingzhu care? Human life really didn't matter to him. 100-step dispersion, very good. Su Yun smiled slightly. Does this mean that I can still walk 100 steps? Can't I avoid it if I jump directly? Su Yun, at this time, I think you really shouldn't be in the mood to joke, right? Qi Qingzhu said, Now is the time for you to make a choice. Are you going to hand him over or not? Of course not. Su Yun, you should know my character by now, right? Otherwise, why didn't you make a move at the beginning after coming to Guqin Island for so long? Su Yun, what do you know? Qi Qingzhu was a little angry. It seemed that they were fools. They were discovered the moment they came to Guqin Island, but they still thought that it was flawless. Su Yun smiled slightly. I know too much, so I won't explain it to you one by one. But you should know in your heart that I won't betray my friends. I'm different from you. Qi Qingzhu sneered. Then do you want me to explain the use of this 100-step dispersion to you? Whatever. Su Yun. I don't care. No matter how scary you say it is, it has nothing to do with me. I don't care, so I don't care. At most, I'll just sit in a wheelchair. In the future, as long as you dare to use martial arts, you will die suddenly. Qi Qingzhu said, This has nothing to do with whether you can walk or not. That's so scary. I'm getting goosebumps all over my body. Su Yun deliberately rubbed his arms. Look at the goosebumps all over my body. It's really unbearable. Qi Qingzhu gritted his teeth. This Su Yun was really unmoved by force or persuasion. Then I'll help you add some color. Suddenly, Qi Qingzhu made his move. With Qi Qingzhu's strength, even if he did not use poison, Su Yun was not his opponent at all. How many years had this old thing become a spirit? After 2 or 3 moves, Su Yun was directly suppressed by Qi Qingzhu, and his mouth was pinched open by Qi Qingzhu. Qi Qingzhu took out a pill. Do you know what this is? As long as you eat this, I guarantee that you'll suffer a fate worse than death. Everything on your body is poison. I'll suffer a fate worse than death no matter what I eat. Su Yun snorted. What's the difference? Do you still need to tell me more? Qi Qingzhu smiled proudly. No, of course there's a difference. Some poisons will only cause people to die. That's nothing at all. There are countless strange poisons in the world, but these poisons that can make people suffer a fate worse than death are the most terrifying. Su Yun was not unworried. Who would want to test the poison on their own body? This damn Qi Qingzhu was so perverted. Who knew what kind of changes would occur after eating the thing he took out? Give it a try. I guarantee that you'll be on cloud 9. Qi Qingzhu smiled slightly. When the time comes, I'm not afraid that you won't tell me. Su Yun did not resist at all. Qi Qingzhu pinched open his mouth and directly stuffed the pill into Su Yun's mouth. Bring me water. Qi Qingzhu roared at Guayu. Guayu obediently did as he was told and carefully said, Old Mr. Qi, this poison of mine, the poison of the 100 steps powder. What should I do? I don't have time to deal with you now. Qi Qingzhu glared at Guayu. He was really not in the mood now. It was not that he was dealing with Guayu. Guayu really wanted to smash Qi Qingzhu to death with a hammer, but he could not. He did not have the ability, and the courage. Moreover, he had to find Qi Qingzhu to cure this poison for him. Otherwise, he would not be able to use his martial arts in the future. Then, he would be no different from a cripple. The Zhao family would not raise a cripple like him. At this time, Guayu could only pray that Qi Qingzhu would be able to solve Su Yun's problem smoothly. When he got the heaven and earth returns, he might be in a good mood and give him the antidote. People had to put themselves in other people's shoes. Qi Qingzhu poured the water directly into Su Yun's mouth. He was afraid that he would control the medicine in his throat and spit it out in a while. When Su Yun swallowed the poison while coughing, Qi Qingzhu was relieved and showed a satisfied smile on his face. Now, even the gods can't save you. Su Yun did not feel anything strange because of this. He knew that the more poisonous it was, the more deadly it would be when it acted up. Old Mr. Qi. He's fine. Guayu saw that Su Yun was still standing up unscathed and said with a look of surprise on his face. Qi Qingzhu sneered. Don't worry. When the bottle of water he drank is completely absorbed by his body, he will know what pain is. Su Yun did not understand what kind of poison it was, but what Qi Qingzhu gave him still made him feel very disgusted. The poison you just ate is comparable to a strong acid, and it can't be digested and eliminated. Qi Qingzhu said, if there is water in your stomach, you can control the strong acid that causes you severe pain. If there is less water, the acid will become stronger, and you will naturally feel tormented. This kind of pain will continue day after day, year after year. In the end, you will need water to flow into your stomach 24 hours a day. Otherwise, you won't be able to bear it. Its torture will become more and more serious, making you feel more and more pain. Su Yun was shocked. Even if water could be used to stop the pain, drinking too much water would cause water poisoning. After 3 years, when you have had enough torture, you will make a choice. Qi Qingzhu smiled and continued, whether you will die from pain or edema. Guayu broke out in a cold sweat when he heard this. Wasn't this a little too vicious? As expected of the old poison. Su Yun also smiled faintly. Even this poison can be played with so many tricks. I'm afraid not many people can withstand it. It's not that not many people can bear it, but it's impossible for anyone to bear it, Qi Qingzhu said. Qi Qingzhu said, you haven't started to feel it yet, but you'll be able to feel the pain very soon. It's like someone has cut open your stomach and slowly poured sulfuric acid over it. Savor it carefully. It's such a wonderful feeling. Guayu sucked in a cold breath. Su Yun couldn't help but sneer. You are really a pervert. Pervert. Why? Chairman Su can't bear it now? Qi Qingzhu said, I thought you were a tough man. Now that I think about it, you are just so. Are you afraid? Su Yun ignored Qi Qingzhu's question. Qi Qingzhu looked at his watch. The first corrosive pain will occur in 10 minutes. You can give it a try then. After a pause, Qi Qingzhu continued, however, you also have a chance to not experience this kind of pain. Humph. Su Yun didn't even need to think to know what Qi Qingzhu wanted to say. As long as you arrange for the 2 people from the Jiang family to be sent to me, I will give you the antidote immediately. Qi Qingzhu said, in this way, you won't have to suffer at all. Everything will be over. Really, it will be over so easily. You won't feel any pain at all. Su Yun smiled. This does sound like a very good choice. Of course. Compared to you suffering this pain alone, there are so many smart choices, Qi Qingzhu said. Su Yun, let's each take what we need. Let's not make things difficult for each other anymore. I'm not making things difficult for you. You are the one who has been making things difficult for me. Su Yun said, what you need is not with me. Qi Qingzhu seemed to be running out of patience. I know I shouldn't do this, but I have no choice. Do you understand? I have no choice. I can only do this. I have my reasons for doing this to you. We don't have any hatred. We can be friends, can't we? Qi Qingzhu's style of doing things was really interesting. Other people would give a sweet date after a slap, but he would stab someone with a knife and give them a cake. Friends. Su Yun grinned. It's daytime. Can you stop dreaming? Chapter 2889. Su Yun, I gave you face, but you don't want it. If you're like this, it won't be fun. Qi Qingzhu said, you must try the pain. Well, I won't stop you. We'll wait quietly. I want to see how long you can endure. As long as you can endure it, I have the patience. Su Yun said, I'm afraid I don't have the patience to wait with you. Qi Qingzhu was stunned. Why? You can't stand it so soon? Or are you afraid of death? Qi Qingzhu, you washed your hands in a golden basin back then to get rid of your sins. Su Yun said, it's said that you reflect on your mistakes in front of the wall in the Northwest Taoist Temple to wash away your sins. In my opinion, you've been reading scriptures all these years for nothing. Or have you not done what you said, to reflect on your mistakes and turn over a new leaf? This has nothing to do with you. Qi Qingzhu looked down on young people. What did they know? Su Yun said again, if you hurt me now, you'll be violating your oath to wash your hands in a golden basin. If someone comes to kill you now to pay the blood debt, won't you have nothing to say? Qi Qingzhu looked at Su Yun contemptuously. I'm afraid you should be thinking more about yourself now. Why are you still in the mood to think about me? Of course. Su Yun said, I'm not the one in danger now, but you. Young man, you're thinking too much. No one will ever want to kill me. Qi Qingzhu said, what I did back then has been buried by time. No one will remember it. And even if someone remembers it today, no one will know that I did it again. So you don't have to worry about me at all. Su Yun smiled slightly. Qi Qingzhu, I remember telling you from the beginning that there's no such thing as an impenetrable wall. Even if it's impenetrable, it won't leak my secrets. Qi Qingzhu was still confident. He had lived a peaceful life for so many years. Obviously, he still had this bit of confidence. However, at this moment, the old man finally pushed the door open and entered. Old Poison, aren't you a little too confident? When the old man entered Qi Qingzhu's vision, Qi Qingzhu immediately remembered that he was the one he saw at the gate of the hotel when he came to Qingdao. However, Qi Qingzhu had no impression of who he was at all. He couldn't remember who he was at all. Who are you? Qi Qingzhu tried to pry into the other party's strength, but when he did, he realized that the other party was unfathomable. At this moment, Qi Qingzhu was indeed a little nervous. With his strength, It had been a long time since he had encountered such a situation. He could not even detect the other party's strength. This was really unsettling. Qi-Qing-Zhu, I've already reminded you that the walls have ears, but you just wouldn't listen. Su Yun snorted with a laugh. Guan Yu, this reckless thing, picked up his weapon and was about to attack the old man without saying anything. The old man turned around and waved his sleeve lightly. Guan Yu flew out directly, his head hitting the wall and fainting. The aura emanating from the old man was absolutely shocking. Even Su Yun, who was already prepared, couldn't help but be shocked by this pressure. This was not on the same level as the pressure he produced. It was on a completely different level. This kind of pressure was really too terrifying. Who the hell are you? Qi-Qing-Zhu was also stunned by this kind of strength. At this moment, he didn't even dare to guess what the other party's strength was. The old man snorted. I didn't expect your memory to be so bad. You don't even remember me. Then, do you remember the hundreds of lives in the Sea Breeze Pavilion back then? Qi-Qing-Zhu sucked in a cold breath. Su Yun also suddenly realized. No wonder the old man was so sensitive to Qi-Qing-Zhu's movements. It turned out that this old man was actually from the Sea Breeze Pavilion back then. Hundreds of lives in the Sea Breeze Pavilion died in Qi-Qing-Zhu's conspiracy. Everyone knew this, but there was no evidence to investigate. In addition to Qi-Qing-Zhu's retirement, no one wanted to seek justice for this matter anymore. After all, everyone in the Sea Breeze Pavilion back then was dead. You're from the Sea Breeze Pavilion? Qi-Qing-Zhu's voice was obviously trembling. The old man snorted. Why? Do you really think that everyone in the Sea Breeze Pavilion back then is dead? Hee hee. Old Poison, I have to say, you're really too vicious. You dared to take so many lives. I don't care who you are, and I don't care if you're from the Sea Breeze Pavilion or not, but there's no evidence to prove that I did it. Qi-Qing-Zhu denied. Yes or no, the whole world knows in their hearts. The old man said, Do you still need evidence? Of course I do. No one can wrongly accuse me without evidence. No one can put those names on me without evidence. Qi-Qing-Zhu said, Who are you? If you have the ability, reveal your name. Otherwise, don't show off in front of me. The old man was expressionless. The pavilion master of the Sea Breeze Pavilion is my sworn brother. You only need to know this. As for who I am, you don't need to know at all. You're not from the Sea Breeze Pavilion. Qi-Qing-Zhu was stunned. The old man snorted. With your poison, Qi-Qing-Zhu, you don't want to leave anyone in the Sea Breeze Pavilion alive. Do you really think that someone can climb out of a pile of corpses? Qi-Qing-Zhu sucked in a breath of cold air. He didn't know if it was because he was relieved or because he was more nervous. Su Yun, you set a trap for me? Qi-Qing-Zhu understood at this time. You lured me to make a move, and then... Don't take it out of context. Su Yun immediately interrupted Qi-Qing-Zhu. If you hadn't been used for your own purpose and attacked me in front of me, would we have forced you to make a move? I don't care how you set it up. I fell into this trap. Qi-Qing-Zhu said, But are you so confident that you can tie me up? Are you so confident that you can escape unscathed? That's our own business. You don't need to worry. The old man said, You should think about yourself now. Qi-Qing-Zhu was not at a disadvantage now. Su Yun has been poisoned by me. If I don't detoxify him, you'll die sooner or later. You'd better think carefully. I really don't believe that you're that good. Su Yun said, You've always thought that you're the best at making and detoxifying poisons, but I feel that there's someone better than you. Qi-Qing-Zhu was stunned. He didn't believe this. Impossible, there's definitely no one. No one knows what poison is better than me. Wrong. Su Yun said, The vicious fairy doctor, Wu Qiuzi, is no weaker than you when it comes to poisons. His medical skills are way better than yours. He can make the antidote for the poison you can make. Don't be an alarmist in front of me. I don't believe that there's anyone who can detoxify me. Qi Qingzhu said, "That Wu guy, he's nothing. If Wu Qiuzi was there, he would probably come up and fight with Qi Qingzhu. You'd better think about yourself." The old man said, "Qi Qingzhu, you said that you've washed your hands of your sins and tried every means possible to get rid of them. Today, you've broken the rules and stirred up trouble again. Don't blame me for being rude to you. This is the rule you broke. You have to bear the consequences." Qi Qingzhu gritted his teeth. "You're too confident. Since you want to avenge the people of Sea Breeze Pavilion, I'll give you a chance to go underground and find them." "You finally admitted it," the old man said coldly. Qi Qingzhu said disapprovingly, "Can anyone here prove what I said? So what if I admit it? So what if I don't admit it? I did it to Sea Breeze Pavilion. So what if I say it? Who will know? God knows, justice knows." The old man was a little angry. "You know it in your heart. Everyone here knows about it. Everyone here? Everyone here that day died. Today, everyone here will die as well." Qi Qingzhu said, "Don't think that you can do anything with your little strength. I admit that you're very powerful. You're so powerful that I can't believe that there's someone of your level alive in the underground world, but you still can't win." Of course, the old man knew what Qi Qingzhu meant. It was his poison. Back then, there were so many people in Sea Breeze Pavilion. If it wasn't for Qi Qingzhu's poison, how could all of them? "Is there really no cure for your poison?" the old man asked. Qi Qingzhu said confidently, "Of course there's no cure, because there are some poisons that even I can't cure myself." "Who else can you count on to cure you?" The old man didn't say anything. "If you know what's good for you, get lost. Don't get involved in my business anymore," Qi Qingzhu said. "I'm not interested in continuing my fate with the people of Sea Breeze Pavilion." Chapter 2890. The old man stared at Qi Qingzhu coldly. "Do you really not have any remorse? After so many years, you should know that the lives of those people in Sea Breeze Pavilion are innocent. But you... Don't talk to me about these principles. Even if I killed the people in Sea Breeze Pavilion, so what? It's been so many years, who would still pursue this matter?" Qi Qingzhu angrily rebuked, "I've given you a chance. Walk out of this room now, and I won't do anything to you. If you're still stubborn, then prepare to die." The old man heavily snorted and flicked his sleeves. "You're still involved in the underground world after washing your hands in a golden basin. Just based on this, I won't let you go. You make it sound nice, but this is clearly a trap set by you and that kid surnamed Su." Qi Qingzhu said, "What does it have to do with me?" "Qi Qingzhu, I originally thought that you still had a trace of humanity left in you. I originally thought that after so many years, you would repent for what you did back then, but you really have no intention of repenting at all." The old man gritted his teeth. "Good, good, good." The old man said good 3 times in a row. His anger was self-evident. Qi Qingzhu was vigilant of everything. Why did Sea Breeze Pavilion fall to such a state? Are they not at fault? Of course not. The old man interrupted Qi Qingzhu. "The people of Sea Breeze Pavilion have always been open and above board. Why should they admit to something they didn't do?" "Didn't do it?" Qi Qingzhu's eyes were spitting fire. "You dare say you didn't do it, but the people of Sea Breeze Pavilion dare to say it." "Of course they dare." The old man said, "Back then, it was a trap set by a villain. The people of Sea Breeze Pavilion would never do anything disgusting like bullying people." Qi Qingzhu didn't listen to the old man at all. "Don't talk to me about these principles here. In your eyes, Sea Breeze Pavilion is open and above board, but in my eyes, Sea Breeze Pavilion is dirty and despicable. Why do I have to agree with the Sea Breeze Pavilion, you know? These are 2 different things." The old man said, "Why did you do this to Sea Breeze Pavilion? Do you think the whole world doesn't know?" "But I know." "What do you know?" "You don't know anything." Qi Qingzhu was a little hysterical. In fact, Su Yun had the opportunity to make a move at this time, but due to the poison in his body, Su Yun did not dare to act rashly. It was better to be careful with Qi Qingzhu's poison. If by any chance the poison was activated, it would really cause trouble for the old master. It would also cause problems for Wu Qiuzi and Yu Meiren. The old man took a deep breath and tried to calm himself down as much as possible. Qi Qingzhu, listen carefully. I can swear on my honor that her death was definitely not done by the Sea Breeze Pavilion. Qi Qingzhu felt as if he had been struck by lightning. This matter, which had been sealed for 20 to 30 years, was revealed again today. Qi Qingzhu felt as if the wound in his heart had been torn open again. The tearing pain was unbearable for Qi Qingzhu. Su Yun instantly became nervous. Who knew what kind of crazy behavior this guy would do? I know I'll make you angry by bringing this up, but it's not like this. I have to make it clear today. The old man made up his mind. Qi Qingzhu clenched his fists, as if the old man dared to say another word, he would fight him to the death. The person who killed her has already been found, but that person's whereabouts are unknown, and you refuse to admit your failure. Do you think you can get her revenge just because you think it's done by the Sea Breeze Pavilion? The old man said, No. It's not like that at all. Her revenge has not been avenged, because the real evildoers are still at large. I want you to shut up. Shut up. You shut up. Do you hear me or not? Qi Qingzhu's eyes were red and bloodshot. The old man still had no intention of stopping. Do you think you're the only one who's heartbroken? Do you think I won't cry for her? Who the hell are you? Qi Qingzhu had completely broken down. Qi Qingzhu, let me tell you, you think you've comforted her spirit in heaven with the lives of so many people in the Sea Breeze Pavilion, but that's not the case. You've not only not comforted her spirit in heaven, but you've also made her suffer more. You've made her suffer more. Do you know that? The old man was also a little hysterical. Su Yun was completely confused. He had no idea what was going on. All of this seemed to be far beyond his expectations. At least now Su Yun was sure of one thing, and that was that the old man definitely did not explain the relationship between him and Qi Qingzhu clearly. No matter what, now Su Yun was sure that the relationship between the two was not as simple as he thought. They must have known each other for a long time. Even if they were not close, they must have a common acquaintance. That was the she they were talking about. This seemed to be a key figure. Su Yun did not dare to make any judgment easily. He could only try to understand as much as possible from their conversation. I don't care who you are. Don't talk about her. Qi Qingzhu was furious. I'll make you regret it. You don't deserve to lecture me about her. Am I not worthy or are you not worthy? The old man's eyes were like lightning. Qi Qingzhu, listen carefully. She was destined to make a big mistake when she fell in love with you. If I hadn't given her so much freedom, if I had been more strict, if I had exercised my rights better as a big brother, she wouldn't have had such a day. She wouldn't have been killed and used as a chess piece to infuriate the conflict between you and the Sea Breeze Pavilion. Qi Qingzhu was stunned. He was completely shocked. His eyes almost popped out of their sockets. His pupils shrank violently in his bloodshot eyes. He really did not dare to think that the person standing in front of him was actually him. The old man's body also trembled uncontrollably. It seemed that he had no intention of letting Qi Qingzhu know his identity today, but in the end, he could not control the development of the situation. Or perhaps he never thought that Qi Qingzhu would be so unrepentant. Qi Qingzhu finally could not say another word. If there was only one person in this world who had the right to teach him a lesson, it was the person standing in front of him at this moment. Feng Wuyin. After the Sea Breeze Pavilion was destroyed by Qi Qingzhu, Feng Wuyin also disappeared without a trace. Many people thought that he had committed suicide because of his sister's tragic death, but who would have thought that he would still be standing here today, right in front of Qi Qingzhu? However, Qi Qingzhu could not recognize him no matter what. After all, Qi Qingzhu was already at this age, and Feng Wuyin, who was 10 years older than him, did not seem to have much of an age difference with him. Impossible. He couldn't be Feng Wuyin. Qi Qingzhu kept shaking his head. He did not believe that the person in front of him was really Feng Wuyin. Qi Qingzhu, everything is your fault. When will you admit it? Feng Wuyin said sternly. You can't be Feng Wuyin. You can't be Feng Wuyin. Qi Qingzhu muttered to himself. There must be something wrong. Hearing this, Su Yun really sucked in a breath of cold air. Feng Wuyin. This was a legendary figure when Zhang Zhizhi and Wan Guangxiao were young and energetic. In other words, even Su Yun's father, Su Chen, and by Xiaoye's mother, Zhuo Langyue, might have grown up listening to Feng Wuyin's story. Feng Wuyin. At a certain moment, even Su Yun suspected that what he was experiencing now was reality. He even suspected that he was in a dream. Look at me carefully. You know very well whether I am or not. Feng Wuyin approached Qi Qingzhu step by step. Qi Qingzhu kept retreating. He didn't even dare to look into the other party's eyes. No. Impossible. You can't be him. However, Feng Wuyin had no intention of stopping. If you dare to take another step forward, I'll kill you. Qi Qingzhu was hysterical. However, even though he said that, he didn't dare to make a move at all. He was afraid. He was really afraid. To Qi Qingzhu, Feng Wuyin was definitely the only person he was afraid of in this world, right? If you dare to make a move, then come. As Feng Wuyin spoke, he had already stood in front of Qi Qingzhu and stared at him face to face. Chapter 2891. Facing this powerful aura, Qi Qingzhu found it difficult to even breathe for a moment. Feng Wuyin's powerful aura made him completely shut his mouth. I've been looking for you for more than 10 years, but I've never touched you. Feng Wuyin said, I always thought that you had come to your senses and spent the rest of your life regretting it. You should have mourned her and begged for the forgiveness of those innocent souls in the Sea Wind Pavilion. But you didn't do anything. After so many years, you didn't repent at all. I did. I really did, but what can my repentance change? Qi Qingzhu looked at Feng Wuyin in confusion. My repentance can't change the current situation at all. What should have happened had happened. All of this could not be changed. Time and space could not be reversed, and time could not be reversed. What had happened could never be changed by anyone, and the dead could never come back to life. What was the point of all of this? Qi Qingzhu didn't know what his repentance could change. His repentance was meaningless to reality. This was a situation that could never be changed. All of this would be Qi Qingzhu's humiliation. All of this would be something that Qi Qingzhu would never dare to remember in his life. He knew that he would never be able to change all of this. Why should he repent? Why should he force himself to accept a truth that he couldn't accept? No, Qi Qingzhu didn't want to accept it. He would never be able to accept the truth. Although he knew in his heart that all of this was his fault, he still didn't dare to admit it. He couldn't let himself admit all of this. All of this was an incomparably painful torture to him. Sometimes, he really wondered why he didn't die back then. If he had died, he wouldn't have to accept the punishment now. After so many years, although Qi Qingzhu didn't admit his mistake, how could he not know in his heart that he was wrong? He was completely wrong. He was completely wrong. He was so wrong that he had no chance to redeem himself. So many lives were lost in the Sea Breeze Pavilion because of his impulsive actions. What made Qi Qingzhu even more vexed was the trust that the pavilion master of the Sea Wind Pavilion had in him. Even at the moment of his death, he firmly believed that it wasn't him, Qi Qingzhu, who poisoned him. At that time, the entire world knew that only he, the 5 poisons walker, Qi Qingzhu, could take out a poison that could kill 100 people at the same time. Everything was because of her. She was the one who made him lose his rationality. She was the one who made him crazy, who made him completely disregard the consequences. He had never thought about the consequences of what he had done. He had never thought that he would cause such a change in the entire underground world. He was just willfully following his heart and doing things that he shouldn't have done. Everything that happened was so unreasonable. By the time Feng Wuyin found out the truth, it was already too late. Back then, in order to avoid Feng Wuyin's questioning, Qi Qingzhu had no choice but to hide. In order to avoid Feng Wuyin's questioning, he even chose to wash his hands in a gold basin and never asked about anything in the underground world again. Of course, at that time, she would no longer be alive, and Qi Qingzhu would no longer have any attachments. All of these things were clearly connected. If it wasn't for her tragic death, if it wasn't for the Sea Breeze Pavilion's unexpected interference, if it wasn't for the fact that she was being used by someone else to cause an eternal injustice, there wouldn't be today's situation. And if Qi Qingzhu had the same mentality back then as he did now, he wouldn't have been so easily used by others to do such a heaven-defying thing. All of this happened like a butterfly effect. No one could stop all of this from happening. No one could change all of this from happening. Even Feng Wuyin, who had become a legend in the entire underground world back then, couldn't stop all of this from happening. There was no way to change all of this that had already happened. Although repentance can't change what has already happened, it can comfort the souls of the deceased in heaven. Feng Wuyin said, "Isn't this worthy of your repentance?" Qi Qingzhu was expressionless. He didn't know what he should say, but to him, other than her, no one else was worthy of his repentance. Even if those people had died in vain because of her, he had never felt that anyone was worthy of his repentance. He had always thought so, and he had always done so. In Qi Qingzhu's heart, there was only one person in the world who was worthy of his repentance. And that person had died and taken everything away from him. He didn't even have the meaning of his own life, so how could he repent for others? It's not worth it. Other than her, no one else is worth my repentance. No one else is worth my mourning. Qi Qingzhu said, "No matter who is standing in front of me today, no matter when someone asks me this question, I will give the same answer." Feng Wuyin finally realized how hopeless Qi Qingzhu was. In your eyes, only she is important, but you have forgotten that to her, all the innocent people in the world are equally important. Feng Wuyin let out a long sigh. I really don't know how her soul in heaven will feel when she hears your words. Don't try to bewitch me with your lies. Qi Qingzhu said angrily, I won't listen to any of your nonsense. She believes in me. She can understand everything I've done for her. Feng Wuyin snorted. You really know how to find comfort for yourself? No. This is the truth. She can see everything I've done for her. Qi Qingzhu said firmly. I believe she can see it. Feng Wuyin said, but have you ever thought that she can also see those useless souls in the Sea Wind Pavilion? Do you think she can really be at ease because of your heart? Shut up. Qi Qingzhu knew that he was wrong. He knew very well what he had done wrong. However, he couldn't let himself admit it. Once he admitted it, it would mean that he had to bear more things that he didn't have to bear. Qi Qingzhu would never allow his heart to be shaken. What he had decided on was right. No one could change it. Even if it was Feng Wuyin, he wouldn't admit that he was wrong. You know very well that all of this is your fault. Otherwise, you wouldn't be so hysterical. Feng Wuyin said, Qi Qingzhu, if you don't admit and face all of this, you won't be able to let it go for the rest of your life. Even if you die, you won't be able to face her. Have you ever thought about it? No. I have a clear conscience. Qi Qingzhu said, I have the face to face her in the netherworld. I do. You don't. Feng Wuyin mercilessly denied Qi Qingzhu's thoughts. Qi Qingzhu widened his eyes and glared at Feng Wuyin angrily and hatefully. This was probably the only person in the world who would stand in front of him and say such words. If it weren't for Feng Wuyin, he would never have to listen to these useless words. His heart had always been so firm. He firmly believed in all of this. He firmly believed that everything he did was for her. In the netherworld, behind her are hundreds of lives in the Sea Wind Pavilion. Feng Wuyin questioned, What are you going to use to face her? Tell me. What are you going to use to face the hundreds of lives in the Sea Wind Pavilion? I don't need to face them. I only need to face her. Why are you forcing me? Why? Qi Qingzhu was really about to break down. I will never face anyone else. Do you understand what I'm saying? I only have to face one person, and that is her. Only her. I only need to face her alone. I only need to face her alone. No matter when or where it is. Feng Wuyin mercilessly tore apart all of this illusion. Impossible, it will never be possible. Why not? Even in the netherworld, she won't face someone who doesn't dare to admit what he did. Even in the netherworld, she won't admire a man who can't distinguish right from wrong. Feng Wuyin said, because she is my sister. No one knows her better than me. Including you. Qi Qingzhu was stunned. His mind was blank. Every word of this sentence was like a sharp blade that mercilessly pierced into the weakest part of his heart. That tearing pain made him unable to bear it. Even though so many years had passed, when he thought of the scene of her tragic death, Qi Qingzhu couldn't support himself. Su Yun said slowly, who is right and who is wrong is already a thing of the past. Why can't you let it go? Chapter 2892. What do you know? If you don't know anything, then don't speak. Qi Qingzhu said to Su Yun rudely, it's not your place to interrupt us. Su Yun smiled. Of course, I know that with my identity, it's indeed not suitable for me to speak nonsense in such an occasion. However, there are some things that I have to say. Qi Qingzhu completely ignored Su Yun. If you don't want to be a mute for the rest of your life, it's best for you to shut your mouth from now on. I've already been poisoned by you. It's still a question whether I can live for a few years. Would I still care if I become a mute? Su Yun said disapprovingly, both of you should let go of the past. It's obviously unwise to put everything in the past. When Feng Wuyin heard Su Yun's words, he said calmly, Su Yun, things aren't as simple as you think. There are some things that you haven't experienced, so you don't know. Senior Feng, actually, I should have guessed that it was you. If there's anyone in this world who has such strength, I'm afraid it's only you. Su Yun. However, although I respect you, I have to say that there's an old saying that the onlooker sees more clearly than the onlooker. Perhaps I'm an outsider who hasn't experienced it personally, but I see things more clearly than you. Feng Wuyin was stunned. He really didn't expect Su Yun to say these words at this time. What does a young child like you know? Qi Qingzhu didn't have the patience to continue listening to Su Yun. Yes, you're right. I'm indeed a young child in front of you. Su Yun, but even so, if what I said makes sense, why don't you listen to me? Qi Qingzhu shook his head disapprovingly. Since you know your own limits, why do you have to embarrass yourself by saying it? If it doesn't make sense, as a junior, I don't feel that there's anything embarrassing about it. Su Yun, if it makes sense, wouldn't it be even better? Su Yun, there's nothing for you to do here. Feng Wuyin also said, you're already poisoned. At this time, it's time to ask someone who can help you. Su Yun shook his head and said, since I've already been poisoned, I don't mind waiting a little longer. At this time, Su Yun already felt something strange in his stomach. It seemed that as soon as he spoke a few words, the water in his body would leak out and the poison would take effect. Qi Qingzhu cursed in his heart. What a reckless thing. Although I don't know what happened to you all back then, I've heard some clues from the two seniors. Su Yun, since another senior was sacrificed because of this matter, and you are all involved in this matter, then you really should let this matter go. Before the two of them could react, Su Yun continued. If I were the senior you speak of, I wouldn't wish for you to quarrel over this matter after so many years, Su Yun said. Who do you think you are? You can't represent her at all. Qi Qingzhu immediately rejected Su Yun. At this time, Su Yun had already begun to feel the heat in his stomach. That kind of heat was obviously not a normal stomach heat. Following that, Su Yun even began to feel the pain of a puncture. That heat seemed to have burned Su Yun's stomach. The burning point continued to rise in temperature and expand until it finally burned through his stomach. This was the feeling. This feeling was simply unbearable for ordinary people. Although Su Yun knew that this was only the feeling brought to him by the poison and that his stomach was not really burned through by the man's heat, such a real feeling was still unbearable. This old poison was indeed worthy of being called the #1 poison user in the world. He was indeed worthy of being the old poison who could use poison to send hundreds of people from the Sea Breeze Pavilion to the Netherworld. The pain quickly exceeded Su Yun's tolerance. At a certain moment, Su Yun even had a dizzy hallucination. It was because the pain from the scorching heat was really unbearable. If it were an ordinary person, they would have fainted from the pain. They might even be unable to withstand this inhuman torture and might even have their stomach cut open. Although I can't represent her, as a bystander, I can stand from her point of view and view everything that happened today, Su Yun said while enduring the intense pain. Qi Qingzhu frowned. He didn't expect this young man to be so daring. From his expression, Qi Qingzhu could clearly see the extent of the poison acting up. If he guessed correctly, the pain Su Yun should be enduring now was definitely an extreme pain that no ordinary person could endure. Or to put it bluntly, this kind of pain was no longer bearable for ordinary people. Even if it was an expert, he should have collapsed immediately. But now, Su Yun could still maintain a normal mind and talk to them. Su Yun, you should leave this place. Feng Wuyin also realized the pain Su Yun was enduring. Right now, other than Qi Qingzhu, only Wu Qiuzi could control the poison in Su Yun's body. Senior Feng, there are some things that you should listen to. Su Yun, you still bring it up now. I believe that you are also a persistent person. I also hope to take this opportunity to tell you that there are some things that you really don't need to keep in your heart forever. Feng Wuyin fell silent. Isn't it a form of relief to let those painful memories go with the wind? Su Yun continued, not only is it a relief for yourself, but it is also a relief for the people who have passed away. Feng Wuyin didn't say a word. What Su Yun said was not unreasonable, but how difficult was it to do it? I know that not everyone can do this, but it's something that you'll have to let go of sooner or later. Su Yun said, the sooner you let go, the sooner you'll be free. Why not? Feng Wuyin didn't say anything. Su Yun knew that he had listened to his words. Feng Wuyin, are you going to let a child order you around? Qi Qingzhu sneered. You are really old. Although you didn't show it on your face, your actions have exposed everything. You are old. Even a child can stand in front of you and preach to you. Ha ha ha, I, Qi Qingzhu, am lucky enough to see this scene in my life. My life has not been in vain. This is not preaching. As a junior, I am just stating a fact to my senior that has blinded his eyes, Su Yun said righteously. Qi Qingzhu snorted. Fact? The fact is that what you said today is all nonsense. We won't make any changes because of your bullshit. What he said makes sense. Feng Wuyin suddenly felt relieved. Qi Qingzhu was stunned. Perhaps I really shouldn't pursue the matter with you anymore. Feng Wuyin glanced at Qi Qingzhu. My old friend has already passed away. Why should I ask you for an explanation? Feng Wuyin was convinced by a junior just like that. Qi Qingzhu really couldn't accept it for a moment. Just like what Su Yun said, you and I both think that our old friend will think of us. Perhaps she has her own opinions? Feng Wuyin said, perhaps she doesn't want to see us fight at all. Qi Qingzhu fell silent. He didn't speak for a long time. Thank you, Senior Feng, for agreeing with my words. Su Yun said, I believe that letting go of everything is what all our old friends want to see. Feng Wuyin looked at Qi Qingzhu and didn't say a word. Qi Qingzhu was silent, and his breathing became more and more rapid. He had never felt this way before. At this moment, he only wanted to cry bitterly. It was as if the dead person who had left for a long time was standing in front of him again. Moreover, it was so real. All of this made Qi Qingzhu unable to control his emotions. However, in front of Feng Wuyin and Su Yun, who were outsiders, he still forcefully suppressed the tears that were gushing out of his eyes. He didn't need anyone to see his weak side. Qi Qingzhu was like all powerhouses. He only liked to show his strong side in front of outsiders, and the weak side in his heart would always be hidden in the deepest part of his heart. A bunch of nonsense. Qi Qingzhu finally squeezed out these 4 words. Even if he felt that it was reasonable, he wouldn't agree with what Feng Wuyin had already agreed with. This was Qi Qingzhu's strange temper. Su Yun couldn't do anything to Qi Qingzhu like this. At this moment, the intense pain of the poison had completely corroded Su Yun. The pain was so painful that he could barely stand. But he was still persevering. Chapter 2893. Qi Qingzhu saw Su Yun's pained expression and the corners of his mouth curled up. He sneered, "Aren't you too ridiculous? You're already in this state, and you still have the mood to meddle in other people's business?" Su Yun gritted his teeth and squeezed out a smile. "If it's just your matter, I'm afraid I really don't have the time. But this matter involves Senior Feng, so I naturally won't be a bystander." Feng Wuyin. The older you get, the more backward you become. Is it the turn of a child to interfere in your matters now? Qi Qingzhu raised his head and laughed out loud. "Back then, I told her that you would never become a true big shot in this lifetime. You really are like that. Even now, you still don't have your own opinions." Feng Wuyin didn't care about Qi Qingzhu's mockery at all. If a person can't even listen to reasonable words, then what's the meaning of his life? Meaning? Tell me what the meaning of your life is. Qi Qingzhu said, "The meaning of your life is nothing more than finding an opportunity to preach to me. Finding an opportunity to make me admit those things that I don't want to admit. Isn't that so? Do you think your life is meaningful?" "Of course." Feng Wuyin said, "At least to me, my life is more meaningful than your life." Qi Qingzhu shook his head in disdain. "You think so because you don't know what a meaningful life is. What about you? You've been like a walking corpse all these years." Feng Wuyin said, "If you don't regret it, then you've wasted all these years." "I don't. I think about her every day. I think about her every moment, so every second of my life is meaningful," Qi Qingzhu said. Feng Wuyin said, "If that's the case, then why did you come out to cause trouble?" "I did it for her." Qi Qingzhu was hysterical again. "Do you know? As long as I kill him and find the other 2, I can take back the heaven and earth return to the heart." Feng Wuyin was expressionless. "Do you know that the heaven and earth return to the heart only belongs to her?" Qi Qingzhu said, "I want to take back what belongs to her. No matter what you want me to do, I will do it." Su Yun really did not expect that Qi Qingzhu was actually such an infatuated person. Qi Qingzhu had been in hiding for so many years. It was impossible to say that he had no intention of repenting. Although he had done all kinds of evil, he only had a bad reputation in the underground world. However, the way he treated the Sea Breeze Pavilion, even if it was the old poison, he wouldn't feel any remorse. No one would be so ruthless and decisive, not even Qi Qingzhu. It was probably unreasonable to say that he had no regrets. After all, Qi Qingzhu really did not care about anything in the underground world all these years. It was just that he would not admit his regret. Everything was just for the sake of face. But today, everything he did was for the sake of heaven and earth returning to his heart. Just because he wanted to see something and think of her, he could disregard everything else. One could imagine just how hopeless his infatuation was. Perhaps it was because of Qi Qingzhu's infatuation that although Feng Wuyin hated him to the bone, he was still unwilling to kill him. Feng Wuyin had nothing to say to the current Qi Qingzhu. How could he not think of someone when he saw something in the middle of the night? Qi Qingzhu didn't seem to be wrong, but he was also very wrong. Have you never thought about how the heaven and earth returning to his heart was lost? Feng Wuyin's words woke him up. Why was the heaven and earth returning to his heart, in the hands of the Zhao family? Qi Qingzhu's mind was blank. Why didn't he have any doubts at the beginning? Too much time had passed. All of this had blinded Qi Qingzhu. The sudden appearance of the heaven and earth returning to his heart, had also made him lose the ability to think normally. From the beginning, he had been completely restrained by the other party. Therefore, from the beginning to the end, Qi Qingzhu had never doubted how the Zhao family had obtained the heaven and earth returning to his heart. You should remember that the heaven and earth returning to his heart was lost after she died, Feng Wuyin said. No one in the Sea Breeze Pavilion has the heaven and earth returning to his heart in their hands. Just this alone proves that this matter was not done by the Sea Breeze Pavilion, and the real murderer is the person who took the heaven and earth returning to his heart. Qi Qingzhu's entire body trembled. So I really don't understand. When the Zhao family took out the heaven and earth returning to his heart as a bargaining chip, you actually didn't have any doubts. Feng Wuyin said, "What exactly was going on in your mind?" Qi Qingzhu didn't know what he was thinking because at that moment, he didn't have the time to think about other problems. "I believe that you have thought it through now. Su Yun, are you going to get rid of me in exchange for the heaven and earth returning to his heart, or are you going to find the person who has the heaven and earth returning to his heart, and ask him how he got it?" Qi Qingzhu suddenly clenched his fists. "If you are used by your enemy in the end, won't you become the biggest joke in the world?" Su Yun smiled slightly. "You are also a senior. You should know more than a junior like me, right? Do you need someone to explain such a simple principle so many times? Guo Yu was really an unlucky person." At this juncture, he, who had fainted just now, actually woke up. After a few coughs, Guo Yu opened his eyes. Just as he was about to stand up with the help of the wall, Qi Qingzhu took a step forward and grabbed his throat, pressing him against the wall. Cough, cough, cough. Guo Yu hadn't caught his breath yet, and now that he was controlled by Qi Qingzhu, he almost suffocated himself to death. "Speak." How did the heaven and earth returning to his heart fall into Zhao Zihu's hands? Qi Qingzhu's eyes were like King Kong. Guo Yu was really wronged. As a subordinate hired by the Zhao family, what could he know? Elder Qi, I really don't know what you mean. I can't breathe. Please let me go. Guo Yu begged in pain. Feng Wuyin slowly shook his head. Qi Qingzhu, it's meaningless for you to vent your resentment on him. Qi Qingzhu's chest rose and fell violently, and he was very angry. If you kill him, then you won't even have the chance to find Zhao Zihu and ask him clearly. Su Yun endured the pain in his abdomen. He could no longer stand, so he supported himself on the sofa and sat down. Hearing Su Yun's words, Qi Qingzhu really let go. Su Yun was right. If he really killed Guo Yu, Zhao Zihu would definitely avoid him when he realized that something was wrong. At that time, he would still have to waste his energy to find him. And now, there was someone in front of him who knew everything about the Zhao family and where Zhao Zihu lived. Why did he want to kill him? If he wanted to kill Guo Yu, he could do it any time, anywhere, but not now. Because he was still useful now, and it was an irreplaceable role. Guo Yu looked at everything that was happening in front of him in a panic. He had no idea what had happened in the 10 minutes that he had been unconscious. But now, he could clearly feel that Qi Qingzhu was no longer on his side. He didn't dare to speak or even breathe loudly. He could only curl up into a ball and carefully observe everything. "I want to see Zhao Zihu now. I want you to bring me to the Zhao family now." Qi Qingzhu stared fiercely at Guo Yu. Guo Yu was at a loss. "Old Mr. Qi, what's going on? I don't want to hear any nonsense. I want you to make the arrangements now. If you don't, I'll kill you immediately." Qi Qingzhu didn't seem to be joking at all. Guo Yu's entire body trembled. "I don't think you should go," Feng Wuyin said indifferently. He had more considerations. Although this heaven and earth heart had appeared in the Zhao family, even if this thing was related to the Zhao family, most of the people in the Zhao family were innocent. With Qi Qingzhu's current mentality, if he went to the Zhao family and was provoked, it was very likely that he would do what he did to the Sea Breeze Pavilion back then. If he poisoned the entire Zhao family and the people who work for the Zhao family because of his impulse, how heavy would that be? Why? Qi Qingzhu didn't understand. If you want to figure it out, it's best to meet the person who has the heaven and earth heart alone, Feng Wuyin said. Feng Wuyin said, trust me. Only when you invite him to a place that is unfamiliar to him will he tell you the truth. Su Yun's abdominal pain was already unbearable. Bean-sized beads of sweat fell from his forehead, but he still insisted, I agree with Elder Feng's suggestion. Chapter 2894. Give him the antidote. Feng Wuyin had already noticed Su Yun's current situation. Qi Qingzhu looked at Su Yun, and the corners of his mouth curled up. Although this kid was a tough guy and could hold on for so long, he couldn't take it anymore, right? It's a pity that there's no antidote for this poison. Qi Qingzhu shook his head. Only water can relieve the pain. After saying that, he picked up a bottle of mineral water and threw it to Su Yun. Su Yun drank 2 mouthfuls of water, and the burning and rotting pain in his stomach disappeared. At this moment, he even felt as if he had been reborn. If this pain had always existed and never been relieved, it would have been fine. But now that it had been relieved once, Su Yun didn't want to endure that kind of pain again. This kind of pain only once was enough. Su Yun swore that there was absolutely no one who would want to endure this kind of pain again. I can give you the antidote for the 100 steps powder, but even I can't make an antidote for this kind of poison that tortures you. Qi Qingzhu didn't feel guilty because of this. Instead, he looked a little smug. No one can save you. Qi Qingzhu. Give him the antidote immediately, Feng Wuyin said. Don't make me force you. Do you really think you can force me to do anything? Qi Qingzhu glanced at Feng Wuyin. I admit that I can't beat you, but can you really get any benefits from me? Feng Wuyin, although I, Qi Qingzhu, am despicable and shameless in your eyes, I'm definitely a real villain and not a hypocrite. If I say there's no antidote, then there's no antidote. If I don't want to give it to you, then I'll say I don't want to give it to you. I'm not that scheming. Hearing this, Feng Wuyin was really speechless. Qi Qingzhu was right. He was indeed a real villain. If he said there was no antidote, then there really was no antidote. But if that was the case, wouldn't Su Yun have to endure this kind of pain forever? Even the person who made this poison couldn't detoxify it, so what chance was there to talk about being saved? Even though the vicious Dr. Wu Qiuzi was in the parking lot outside the hotel, Feng Wuyin didn't have any hope at all. How could Wu Qiuzi cure a poison that even Qi Qingzhu himself could not? Elder Feng, you don't have to worry about me. Su Yun trusted Wu Qiuzi completely. He doesn't have the antidote, but I have someone who can save me. Qi Qingzhu snorted. He was really dismissive of this. In this world, only he, Qi Qingzhu, could concoct an incurable poison. There was absolutely no one who could concoct an antidote for his poison. No one could do it. Qi Qingzhu had this confidence, and it was 100% confidence. Qi Qingzhu, I admit that your poison is very powerful, but perhaps you're not the most powerful one, Su Yun said. Since I'm here today, I'm prepared to risk my life. Qi Qingzhu laughed when he heard this. Looks like you've really prepared someone to treat you? Otherwise, you wouldn't be so fearless. Su Yun nodded. That's right. I did invite someone to help me deal with your poison. Good, young man. You have guts. You really don't care about the consequences when you do things. Qi Qingzhu smiled. Then go. Let your people cure my poison. If they can cure it, I'll be overjoyed. Su Yun smiled and looked at Qi Qingzhu provocatively. I believe I won't let you down. Qi Qingzhu cursed in his heart for not knowing the immensity of heaven and earth. He could not be bothered to pay attention to this hopeless person. In the blink of an eye, Qi Qingzhu pointed his spear at Guan Yu. When Guan Yu saw Qi Qingzhu's gaze, his entire body shivered. Old Mr. Qi, I'll do whatever you want me to do. Very good. It's very good that you have this awareness. Qi Qingzhu said coldly, Then call your master immediately and ask him to bring the heaven and earth return to the heart to me immediately and explain this matter to me clearly. Although Guo Yu didn't know what Qi Qingzhu wanted young Master Zhao to explain, he didn't dare to ask too much. However, he was in a difficult position because he was 100% sure that if he called young Master Zhao directly and said this, young Master Zhao would definitely not come. And this way, all of Qi Qingzhu's resentment would be vented on him again. If you let him say this, do you think the Zhao family will come? Feng Wuyin said, Qi Qingzhu, aren't you taking your words too seriously? No one will listen to your orders. Qi Qingzhu gritted his teeth and looked at Feng Wuyin. You were the one who said that you wanted to call them out to talk. Now, you're telling me that it's impossible to call them here. Can you use your brain when you do things? Feng Wuyin was also a little impatient. You asked me to do this, Qi Qingzhu said, but now you're telling me that this won't work, and that won't work either. Then tell me, what exactly will work? Feng Wuyin said bluntly, if you don't change your method, do you really think that the Zhao family will come? Is there something wrong with your brain? Qi Qingzhu was stunned. Of course, he knew that Zhao Zihu wouldn't listen to him and definitely wouldn't come to see him. Then what should he do? Qi Qingzhu looked at Feng Wuyin with a blank expression. Although Su Yun drank 2 mouthfuls of water, it quickly lost its effect. The intense pain assaulted him. He said to Qi Qingzhu, if you say that you have already controlled me, I believe that he will rush over without hesitation. Qi Qingzhu's face was instantly filled with hope. No, that's impossible. No matter who it is, young Master Zhao won't come. Guo Yu hurriedly said. He knew the consequences of betraying the Zhao family. And now, they wanted to force him to betray them, but he didn't dare. But if he didn't do as they said, then his fate would be even worse. Su Yun's fate would soon happen to him, so Guo Yu didn't dare to disobey. He could only deny everything. Call him and let him see me. I only need to say a word and he will stand in front of you as soon as possible. Su Yun ignored Guo Yu. Old Master Qi, don't listen to him. He's talking nonsense. Guo Yu roared. Qi Qingzhu glared at Guo Yu fiercely. Shut up and do as he says. Immediately call that kid surnamed Zhao. I want him to see Su Yun now. Guo Yu didn't dare to do it. He really didn't dare to do it. If you want to live, this is your last chance. Feng Wuyin stood behind Guo Yu. After making this call, you can run for your life. We won't hand you over to the Zhao family to be dealt with. Guo Yu's entire body trembled. But if you don't cooperate, you will die now, Feng Wuyin said. I guarantee that your death will be very ugly. Guo Yu's entire body trembled. He felt an unprecedented fear. This was because the pressure that Feng Wuyin gave him was far higher than the pressure that Qi Qingzhu gave him. In the end, Guo Yu dialed Zhao Zihu's number with a trembling hand. After Zhao Zihu picked up the call, he was obviously very impatient. How's the matter going? Young Master Zhao, the matter has been handled very smoothly. Now old Master Qi has everything under control. He has something to say to you, Guo Yu said. When Zhao Zihu heard this, he was immediately overjoyed. All his unhappiness from before was swept away. The video had already been played. Qi Qingzhu snatched the phone and pointed it directly at Su Yun. He said to Zhao Zihu without any hesitation, I've already done what you asked me to do. Where are those 2 people? Zhao Zihu saw Su Yun's miserable appearance and felt a wave of satisfaction in his heart. Without waiting for Zhao Zihu to speak, Su Yun sneered and said, If you want to find them, then come and ask me. Anyway, I don't have many days left to live. Everything you want to know will become a secret forever. You will never know where they went. Zhao Zihu's mind buzzed. What poison did you give him? Qi Qingzhu replied impatiently, I don't need you to interfere in how I do things. What poison I give him is my business. You just need to prepare the heaven and earth return to the heart. Okay. I'll give you the heaven and earth return to the heart. But you have to promise me that you won't let him die before I arrive at Qingdao. I still have important things to ask him. Zhao Zihu said, as long as you let him live until I arrive, I'll definitely give you the heaven and earth return to the heart. Qi Qingzhu sneered in his heart and said expressionlessly to Zhao Zihu, okay. I won't tell you even if you come. Su Yun took one last look at the video camera. Zhao Zihu quickly realized that time was of the essence. Looking at Su Yun's imminent death, he knew that he had to speed up. Chapter 2895. After Qi Qingzhu hung up the phone, he threw it to Guayu. He looked at Su Yun and asked, "Why are you so sure that he will rush to Huaxia immediately?" "Because he knows how powerful you are and is afraid that I will really die in your hands." Su Yun said, "Is there any doubt about that?" Qi Qingzhu didn't say anything else. It was fine as long as he achieved his goal. No matter what method he used, he didn't care. "Can I leave now?" Guayu looked at Qi Qingzhu nervously. Seeing that the other party's expression was gloomy, he turned his gaze to Feng Wuyin. But before Feng Wuyin could speak, Qi Qingzhu rejected Guayu's request. "Of course not. But you already promised me just now." Guayu's head was about to explode. If Zhao Zihu rushed over and found out that he had betrayed him, what kind of nightmare would that be? Zhao Zihu would even kill him immediately. At that time, he would definitely die. He's no longer of any use. Feng Wuyin said to Qi Qingzhu, "Let him go." "If you let him go out, I guess he will definitely call the Zhao family immediately," Qi Qingzhu said. "All of this design will be ruined in an instant." "No, I definitely won't call. I won't say anything." Guayu shook his head crazily. Qi Qingzhu glanced at him. "No matter what you say now, I won't believe it. So, you'd better save it. Unless Zhao Zihu stands in front of me with heaven and earth returns to the heart, you can forget about leaving." "But I—" Before Guayu could finish his sentence, Qi Qingzhu raised his hand and shot a pill into Guayu's mouth. Guayu was completely caught off guard and swallowed it directly. When he realized that this pill was most likely highly toxic, it was already too late to vomit. "As long as Zhao Zihu comes to me with heaven and earth returns to the heart, I will give you the antidote." "I will give you the antidote," Qi Qingzhu said. Guayu's face was ashen. "Actually, there's no need for that, right?" Feng Wuyin said. "After all, Guayu is just a dog of the Zhao family." "Of course," Qi Qingzhu said. "From the few times I've interacted with the Zhao kid, I can tell that he's a naturally suspicious person. So, I'm sure that after he comes to Huaxia, I'll still talk to him to confirm if there's any danger." Qi Qingzhu's words were not without reason. Controlling Guayu was indeed a foolproof plan. This had nothing to do with Feng Wuyin, and he didn't want to care about it. "Old mister, you have to save me." Guayu knelt in front of Feng Wuyin. "I beg you to save me. He was the one who poisoned you. You should also find him for the antidote." Feng Wuyin couldn't do anything about this. Qi Qingzhu looked at Guayu with disdain. "You won't have any problems in 3 days. The antidote is with me. If Zhao Zihu doesn't arrive in 3 days, you will die suddenly. If he arrives, you will naturally be safe and sound. Don't talk nonsense to me. I hate you, you cowardly wretch." Guayu had no other choice but to shut up. The corrosive poison in Su Yun's body acted up again. He knew that it wasn't a good idea to continue acting up like this. Sooner or later, he wouldn't be able to hold it in anymore. Just as he got up and was about to leave, Qi Qingzhu took out a small porcelain bottle. "This is the antidote for the 100-step powder." "Thank you, but I don't need it." Su Yun glanced at Qi Qingzhu and said confidently. Qi Qingzhu was stunned. This kid really had guts. But guts didn't mean that he could survive. If the price of stubbornness is your life, then there's no need for that, right? Qi Qingzhu said, I'm giving him face. That's why I'm giving you the antidote. After saying that, Qi Qingzhu glanced at Feng Wuyin. He ignored Su Yun's rejection and directly threw the antidote over. Su Yun didn't even look at it. He allowed the small porcelain bottle to shatter on the ground. Guayu rolled and crawled forward. He didn't care that the pill on the ground was still stained with broken porcelain. He grabbed it and stuffed it into his mouth. Qi Qingzhu never expected that Su Yun's guts weren't an act. He really had guts. He ignored Su Yun and said to Guayu, "This is the antidote for the 100-step powder. You've been poisoned by the poison of the intestines. Not only is it useless to eat it, but it will also worsen the poison." Guayu was petrified again. "Senior Feng, I believe that you still have something to say. I'll take my leave first." Su Yun drank a mouthful of water and forced himself to stand up. He had to let Wu Qiuzi take a look. Feng Wuyin nodded. He didn't dare to guarantee that Su Yun would be able to hold on. Everything could only depend on luck. If no one could detoxify the poison, then even if he had to exhaust his entire life's cultivation, he would definitely help Su Yun force out the poison in his body. Regarding this, Feng Wuyin was clearly confident in his internal strength. Su Yun left the room. Only Feng Wuyin, Qi Qingzhu, and the dazed Guayu were left in the room. If you can really find the real murderer from back then through the heart of heaven and earth, what will you do? Feng Wuyin asked indifferently. The hostility from before seemed to have completely disappeared in the air. Qi Qingzhu gritted his teeth and said word by word, "I will kill him. I will kill him in the cruelest way. I want him to suffer the most painful thing in this world every second. I want him to slowly die in this kind of torture. I want to return everything he has suffered." Feng Wuyin was silent for a moment. "That's not what I'm talking about." "Then what are you talking about?" Qi Qingzhu said, "Don't you want to avenge her? Don't you want the bastard who hurt her to receive the punishment he deserves?" "Of course I do," Feng Wuyin said, "but that's not the most important thing." "Then what else do you want?" Qi Qingzhu said, "What else do you want me to do?" Feng Wuyin said, "The best way to comfort the dead is to restore the truth. I hope that after finding the truth, you can go to the tombstones of the hundreds of people in the Sea Breeze Pavilion to atone for your sins." Qi Qingzhu was silent for a long time. Feng Wuyin also stared at him without saying a word. Finally, Qi Qingzhu lowered his head. If he could really atone for his sins, Feng Wuyin felt that it was worth it. "Okay." When Qi Qingzhu raised his head again, he responded to Feng Wuyin's request. "I promise you." Su Yun staggered into the elevator. When he went down to the hall, Little Northeast was pacing back and forth uneasily. When he saw Su Yun, he immediately ran forward. "Brother Yun, what happened to you? What the hell happened? Where's the old man? Is he okay?" "He's fine." Su Yun endured the pain and said, "Quick, help me over. The old man is waiting for me in the car." "Brother, what's wrong? Don't scare me." Little Northeast had never seen Su Yun so weak. Su Yun could no longer stand on his own. After all, he had been poisoned by two kinds of poison at the same time. Although the 100-step powder wasn't fatal, it could paralyze his meridians and acupoints. Su Yun's entire body was sore and weak. The intense pain of the corrosive poison was unbearable for ordinary people. Therefore, Su Yun's current situation could be said to be quite terrible. Su Yun forced a smile. "With the old man around, I won't die." Little Northeast helped Su Yun out. Wu Qiuzi, who was in the car, also jumped up when she saw this scene. Her head hit the roof of the car with a bang. He got out of the car in a hurry to pick them up. He gritted his teeth and spat, "Qi Qingzhu, this poison bastard, is really a bastard. He's so ruthless." "You're here." "Su Yun, I told him, do whatever he wants." "You're also a bastard. Why do you act as if this body doesn't belong to you?" Wu Qiuzi threw Su Yun into the back seat with Little Northeast's help. After he got in, he immediately took Su Yun's pulse. Little Northeast also turned into the front passenger seat and looked back anxiously at the scene in front of him. "Give me some water. I can't hold it in anymore," Su Yun said to Little Northeast. Little Northeast didn't know what was going on. He quickly picked up the cup from the cup holder and handed it to Su Yun. After drinking a mouthful of water, the unbearable pain caused by the corrosive poison temporarily suppressed. Su Yun finally had a breath of fresh air. Wu Qiuzi, who was taking his pulse, looked worse and worse. He had already cursed Qi Qingzhu's 108 generations of ancestors in his heart. This old poison bastard really didn't show any mercy. He just wanted to kill him. He quickly understood Su Yun's situation through his pulse. When Su Yun told her about the poison, Wu Qiuzi immediately cursed at Qi Qingzhu. She couldn't wait to tear him apart right there and then. This bastard was too ruthless. Wasn't this poison a little too poisonous? "Old man, I trust you. He gave me the antidote, but I didn't take it," Su Yun said proudly. Wu Qiuzi really wanted to slap him on the head. Was this child stupid? But then again, how much trust did he have in him? Even if he had to exchange his life for it, he would give Su Yun the antidote. You're tuning in to the Narrate and Escape YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.